yeah, there's like a area called like Lake City, and then if you go over to the left, like you can go over to like the highway, like Highway 99 and stuff. There's Aurora Avenue.
Okay.
And then past Shoreline, you go to Linwood or like Malik Terrace, then Linwood, then after that it's like Snohomish, Everett, like where I'm from. Yeah. So
is that where you're from? Is from up there?
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. Okay.
Snohomish and shit.
Well, how'd you make the connection down here?
Man, that goes way back. That goes back to like, man, me going to like, well, first, like, I mean, I gotta just like leave this in here just because if I don't, it's doing a disservice. But pretty much like, just me going to Seattle all the time, being a kid from up north, and kind of just like linking with kids that were like in that general area that kind of had like common interests and stuff, like my homie Tac'd, like young Tac'd and shit.
Yeah.
Like he was like one of the first, if not the first person that like I just organically met like out in the streets. I got like a show, so like I just started going up there. Hella people.
You were just naturally interested.
Yeah, then hella people from Kent were pulling up to Seattle and shit. So it's like me and a couple of my homies from up north, we're pulling up to Seattle. The homies from Kent are pulling up to Seattle. The homies from Federal Way are pulling up to Seattle. It was just kind of like the epicenter.
That's
like,
where everyone met.
Yeah, like kind of like 2014 to like what it is like maybe a couple years ago. So at that point, I was just going down there, and then the homies from Tacoma started really coming down and doing shows at like Vera Project and stuff,
yeah.
like Aramis and Austin and
In the Sand.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, so like just all these different friend groups were just merging and shit, and then the connection with Baka and Hoody happened because well, it happened through Hoody first. Fucking, there was this picture I posted like way back in the day, and it was like it was just like some picture the homie Ian Ostrowski took, does like Genesis, like the skateboarding
thing. Okay.
Yeah, so he took this picture of me, and I had on a bootleg like I had on a Sade shirt.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then Hoody was like hitting him up on Twitter. I don't remember where he hit him up at, but he was like, "Yo, who is this? Like, where's that shirt?"
Because I followed him. No, I followed you first, and I DM'd you, but like it's Twitter, so like I don't think you at that time on Twitter.
They had
I don't even think they had they had to be following you to see
Yeah.
if they even messaged you type shit.
Right.
So then like I hit up like all the mutuals that I seen with Collin, and there was hella, and I was like, "Yo, bro, tell this dude to hit me up," because I was hella trying to get. I'm still trying to get a shot at T, but like. Right. It looked legit too from the photo, so I'm like, oh, and then he hit, and then he finally hit me back. It was like, nah, bro, it ain't it, but like, oh, it's good. Like,
yeah. And then we talked from that, and then Hoody worked at this store a couple years ago, Grit City, that was up on 6th Ave and shit. And then I went in there one day buying clothes.
Yeah. And
he was just there, and then I like recognized him. I'm like, yo, aren't you like the guy we talked like, So then that's how I met Hoody, and then Hoody and I like weren't even like kicking it like that. Like I'd run into Hoody at like functions and shit.
Bro, then the Toe Jam shit. That kind of solidified it because I had seen you already, and we kind of were like, hey, what's up on some acquaintance shit. But remember when you were doing like hand drawn tees, and it was at the Toe Jam on East Side in someone's backyard. That's where we like really connected, and then from then on it was like,
so like,
it was good.
Yeah, so I was doing
that shit was fire, by the way.
Yeah,
this man was
we can get into that in a minute,
shit.
But I basically like was doing a pop up at Toe Jam, and it was over on the East Side and shit, and then Hoody was there, and then we just started. That was like right after like I seen him at the store too, so we were just kind of slowly getting to know each other and stuff. And then how Baka came in the picture was because I hit Hoody and I was trying to buy some clothes because I already knew like we were hella both into ice cream and Babe, and we were into like a lot of the same shit, so I hit him up and I was like, hey bro, like blah blah blah, like I stay up in Seattle and shit, like I don't know if you're trying to come up and trade some stuff. I know like we both have some pieces we probably want.
Right.
So he pulled up and he was with Baka, and you know,
ties everything together.
And like,
man.
you know, we're just going through my room and shit. We're just like really, you know.
And I knew too, cause like I always have like shit. Of course, my size and then like a little up from my size. I have all the sizes,
right?
Usually. But I knew them both personally were the same, like pretty much the same size. Like if it's like a good XL or if it's like a, you know, a little snug 2X. Like I know that they had a bunch of shit in common too. So I was like, it's only right.
Nice.
Yeah, we're all almost the same size, if not the same size. Yeah. So like it just was like, damn.
If I get a shirt, it's just like a little oversized for me. But if they get, you know,
I got homies and shit that can give me the 2XLs or the XLs. And all my other homies were like a lot smaller than me, so it was hard to trade clothes to them.
Just closet swap.
Just shoes, honestly. Really, back in the day. So
yeah,
it was cool having them over, and you know they stayed over, and then they did a flea market that was in Portland, and me and my homie we drove all the way out there just to go fuck with them and shit.
That was crazy because that was when we didn't even really know each other. I remember talking to Baka. I was like, "Yo, you remember that dude?" And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Bro, him and his fucking roommate, like, they not only mobbed out here, like he's trying to downplay it, bro. They like were the first in line. So this pop up, like at the time, like it was the first pop up that this dude was doing. And like, I mean, there ended up being a line of like 30, 40, 50 people. So they were smart, but like the fact that they came from a whole, not even
another city. It was the first real Portland pop up.
So they came from farther, you feel me? So the Tac'd is like, the Tac'd's 2 hours away, you feel me? 2.5 hours because I be speeding. Yeah. So we got to PDX and we're like, oh cool, you know. And then like some dudes that are farther than us. Like, bro, they were like, we were literally still setting up. Like, it was probably 2-3 hours before the event, and they already were posted up. And I was like, oh, we know those dudes. Because it was funny, because the dude who was running the event, he came up to me like, bro, we already got people lined up. Like, trying to like brag. And I was like, oh, that's fire. And I go out, and I'm like, these people lined up for me and Baku. I was like, say less, though. We got you.
I know. We went out that day, got the smoking telly up in Beaverton.
Yeah.
We're just chopping it up. And after that, like, we was really just dummy locked in. Like, I have homies that I've known virtually my whole life type shit from up north that have just treated me way worse than these two have in the last 2 years. Like, I've never been treated with more respect and more like...
That's beautiful.
Just trying to like, you know, like really just like treat me as like a family member and shit, you know, because like I said, I have people that I've just grown up with forever that I really used to call my brother and shit, and it just doesn't even calculate up to the same thing. I can really only say that about a couple people. So it's just sick that like this is definitely like one of my friendships I've had, or like just beyond that, like over the last like couple years, but it's like grown the fastest out of like any relationship I've ever had with somebody, you feel me?
That's awesome, man. That's really like Hoody definitely has always set that example for me too, of just like he has always connected me with new people, or like I can't tell you, I've probably gotten like 3 separate texts like, hey, I got this play where you fit right in right here, like pull up. I'm like, all right, easy peasy, like,
yeah.
And it's always love, it's always
early, bro, since early. I mean, that's really what I be trying to do, man. Like that's I feel like that's not like my gift, you feel me? But like, you know, just the gift of gab and being able to talk to pretty much anybody. It's like, why the fuck wouldn't I bring people together? And especially like people that I love and care about. It's like, bro, if I see I got this homie that can link up with this homie and they can make a power move. It's like, bro, I don't need nothing from that. I genuinely am happy from seeing y'all win off some shit. That shit's cool to me.
Right.
I'm like, bro, I know both of these dudes. This shit's crazy.
Like, that was always like a big mission of mine, was to find a play and put the homies on. Like, that was always on repeat.
Bro, if we can all eat together, that's like ideal.
I can't be the only one winning. Like, I don't want to pay for your vacation. I need you with me one way or another, but please, like, don't make me pay for your shit. Get your, like, I'll show you how to get it.
Yeah, man. But that's basically like, you know, if I had to like pinpoint exactly how that started, that's like as watered down and as not as detailed as I could get. You feel me? Like,
right.
We giving the live clips. How many people got in the live? I know we probably got.
We might have to turn it off, but
might be 1 or 2.
I think
I went live for a second, try to, you know.
Yeah, we got
Primo was showing love in there.
We got a bunch of vintage lords in the
building. Yeah, right here, shout out that boy Primo.
Shout out Primo. But here, I'm about to pop this down now.
Yeah. We gave him a little preview. I told him the episode's coming soon.
For sure.
We got a little love in there. Hopefully a few more tagged in followers.
Bet. So what's on the horizon for you guys? I know you guys have been busy at work.
Oh yeah, them boys been cooking. I mean, we've all been working, but them boys
seems like
working.
Everyone's got their own projects going on, and they're going quite steady too. Whoever wants to take the floor.
I mean,
time for a little self-promotion.
I know the podcast started, but I'm here, Slubaka, you know, fucking Vibs. Tac'd legend. Nobody talk about me, but hey, I'm with all your best people. I'm in the background playing all the best parts. #1 creative director in Tacoma. I put that on me.
Oh God.
Beautiful.
Yeah, facts.
I'll co-sign that. I'm sure Collin will co-sign that too.
And in terms of what we got coming up next, as you can see, you got the security top on, inspired by our big bro Ant. He's security. If anybody want to press the pressure, you feel me? Ant gonna catch you lacking. It's really whatever, you feel me? You feel me? Me and Collin both got SLUCOLOR pants on coming from the next season. You know, the pants I'm wearing right now are probably the best pants I've ever done in my opinion. That's why I wore them.
What color were those before? Are they corduroy?
These were tan at first.
Dude, that's so
another double knees.
These
are black.
Cards.
Dude, I know. I'm digging. It's like almost the water. Well, they probably both got it, huh? So I don't know if you guys are giving out trade secrets or not, but like, what's the process behind all the wash dyes? Is that what you guys are doing? Is wash dyeing, or?
What do you mean by wash dye?
Well, I've seen you stuffing buckets full of stuff and washing and dyeing them that way.
Yeah.
I've seen Hoody take them to the laundromat. I'm sure there's tons of different ways.
I never say y'all dirty shit.
But I've never been technical as far as like dyeing or creating or playing with anything like that.
I feel like there's a bunch of ways you can do it.
Yeah, we definitely got a lot of methods. Like, there's not just one way. When people ask me that, it's very broad. Because I personally do not only garment dyeing, but I do tie-dye as well. So there's not only like just different tie-dye patterns that I do, you feel me? But there's also like different methods that I do to apply the dye to the garment. So there's like tub dyeing, there's ice dyeing, there's like when you throw it in the bottle.
Okay.
And there's so many different levels. But as far as like this is just a shit ton of work. Like I don't know if we want to get into detail because that might be like the whole damn podcast.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a real name for it.
It's really a lot of.
I like to call my shit hand dyed.
Yeah,
same.
Yeah,
like if I'm doing garment dye, like the shorts you're wearing, those are hand dyed.
With love, yes.
Hand dyed with love.
Yeah.
Shout out my boy B Hayes too with the fire basement drop. We went up this last weekend. You should have been there. There's a reason why he named it that, because he knew motherfuckers were gonna sleep, but the real ones didn't. You feel me? They pulled up, but that's regular. Everyone on this couch pulled up. But we'll get into that later.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to like articulate like without getting too deep into it, it's basically like just a bunch of different steps that goes into it to get that garment from being a straight, solid old piece, like a pair of black pants, to getting it to be orange. Like it's just like.
Yeah, and I just refuse to do the same thing as everybody else. So I just don't ever do the same shit. So like I might dye something one way, one drop, and then I'm trying to figure out how I can do it better the next
drop. A totally different way.
Literally, like every time we do some shit, like it's literally we're taking away something like that could have been better this time. That could have been positive.
I can't imagine anyone else would spend 40 minutes working on one pair of pants.
Right. It almost feels like playing mad scientist, like in the lab, just with clothes. Like that's the stuff that interests me. And then try. I'm sure you guys are trying new
techniques.
There's
tons of variables that go on and affect stuff. Like just
how you bleach your shit, how you cure it before you dye it. It's gonna come out different.
Right. I guess the most experience I have, like
how you prep it, how you even apply the dye to it. What size bucket you use, how much water you use, how much dye you use, how much like
the temperature
like,
of the water you use.
Like there's like a bunch to it. So like look, these are like I don't know how big the camera's gonna pick these up, but these are like pretty much a straight solid color. There's like some variation, and then you see these have like a little bit lighter spots, have some of the cool webbing, which is fucking fire. I mean, they're both fire pair of pants, but these are two pair of pants that probably got the same amount of work put into them, but two different methods. Yeah. You feel me? And maybe like half of the methods were the same as far as like prep and getting the stuff ready. But as far as like application, like look from here to here, like you learn what you want. And some people might go for this look, but like I know as far as what SLUCOLOR's trying to do, they're trying to go like. You have a garment that's like a regular color, and now it's a SLUCOLOR. So like these are like some 101s and shit, but like that's what they're going for. Is like whereas like I'm gonna crumple shit up and make cool designs and tie dye. Like that's why Cool Customs and SLUCOLOR is different.
Right.
Obviously I'm a part of SLUCOLOR. I mean they even let me model a couple things. You feel me? And so that's gang. But like there's like a couple different things I think that they're trying to like really identify with as far as like clothing. So
we just really like obscure colored garments with really nice silhouettes and cuts. And you can't go buy obscure cut garments for decent prices most of the time. And then I'm also like a big workwear and vintage guy. So just being able to like collide those two worlds and like make the colors we want, and like there's no one making orange pants for someone being this guy's size.
Right.
That's just
These
point blank.
These are like
unless you're
42s
fucking like
40s
Dickies or some shit.
Yeah.
You know? And it's
And then
some shit you don't want to wear.
Orange, not a pumpkin
Right.
orange.
Exactly.
So it's like
oh cool.
So it's
It
like,
looks like he's fresh out.
Where's the big dude supposed to get the big ass pink jacket at, or the big pair of pink pants?
And where's the Gen X at?
Yeah,
where's the Gen X at?
Jacket.
Where's the Gen X at?
Like,
We gotta drive to Salem?
All the pink jackets you ever find from Carhartt say women's on the tag.
Oh yeah, always.
Really?
Always.
They've never made a men's size pink jacket.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I have the 2X
Interesting.
pink jacket, all pink, better than these pants.
Right.
But because you made it pink, right?
Because I made it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bet. Yeah, dude. When you guys set up the photo shoots and just grab as much as like as many items as you have,
That's all
and
this
these
do, bro. That's all
obscure
this
colors,
do.
like that is some of my favorite photos. Where you really just go all out with the back, with
That's
the
all this.
backdrop.
Yeah.
Any photo you probably seen on my personal, like I would say like 98.7% were probably like taken by this guy, and then I would say 70% of those were styled by this dude. So like if you dropping a heart on my photo, you better follow Baca the cute one, cause like
Number one
the
creative director.
curation, you feel me? Like sometimes this motherfucker got me
Tac'd.
wearing shit that I'm like, I don't know if I really fuck with this, and then I see the photo after, I'm like, oh, he did that.
Yeah.
Like the cradle to the grave, like that one, yeah, the orange one that you were just on, like yeah, both of those styled by Baca. You know, that's a little promo video that I had, but like yeah, that's Baca shit. Like where everything right there in that photo, like I mean that was my hoodie, you feel me? But those are even my man's shoes. Like he really is going to the next
Yeah.
level to try to curate shit, and this is just for my Instagram feed and like you know to promo some pants, like bro, like the levels that he puts into shit. Shout out to my Dukes,
Facts.
but the levels he puts into this shit is crazy. And I know like he was saying earlier, like when he introduced himself, like hey, a lot of people don't talk to him, but the right people are talking about this dude. He just might not know it.
And like,
But like that y'all are gonna know, you feel me? But like this is just some regular shit we did on my homie's back porch while we were like chilling. Like I was like smoking.
Yeah, you can't tell.
And he's like, you
but
can't.
I hung up that red fucking like tablecloth like on my homie's like sliding glass door. But I mean,
That's just stuff we had laying around. Like this man said tablecloth. That's not like a backdrop.
Right,
The
that's-
fact that what he's able to do on
Pull it together.
balling on the budget or whatever it is, like bro, like for the orange background too that we were looking at earlier, like that's some shit we grabbed at like Wally World, bro.
Yeah, so
Like-
for something like, and see, those are all Garfields. I thought that honestly, like, I just am now
Like
realizing
just the
those are
placement
all
where we
different
like decided to
Garfields.
go take these photos. Like if you keep doing that, like I think the only one like on my like recent page, but like are the middle two. So like the one where I'm wearing the purple jacket and the one where I'm wearing my brown Gucci hat. Those are the only two that aren't Baca. Pretty much everything else, if you keep scrolling, is all Baca shots. So if you want to know like the type of shit he can do, like, and then like yeah, another one in the middle, that's Trapographer. That was Trapographer and Felix were I think those other two photos. Shout out to both of them. They were great shooters. But like even the photo that he's in, bro, he's styled and curated. Like pretty much everything else you're seeing, that's all Baca. That's all Baca. Like obviously I got my own shit, but the way he decides like, hey, you should be wearing this or you should put this on there, it's real regular to me. But like I feel like a lot of people don't understand the depth that goes into some of this shit, which is just like these are Instagram posts. So like imagine what he's doing like when he's really like curating, you know,
I'm just a big
SLUCOLOR
film
or
head.
like
Yeah, so
I'm like a really big,
installations, like
fan of,
videos
set
create realities,
design.
like my
that's
boy
what I was just
Shirt.
gonna
Like
go. Like, where did you really like develop that creative instinct, and like, what were some of like the first things you used it on to like kind of hone in your skills?
I feel like a lot of different things speak for a lot of my different interests. So like when you see like a straight colored picture from me,
Yeah.
or something like that, you can like equate that to like Tim Burton. Like I'm just really a fan of the way Burton uses colors in his films and the way he highlights them. And then if you ever see me like use like more of like a natural setting, just more outside and shit like that, that's me being inspired by like Wes Anderson,
Yeah.
or like just anyone who has like really good like natural lighting in their films.
Right.
I always just try to strive for that. And shout out my high school fucking photography teacher, Miss Johnson. Without her, I wouldn't know how to set up a photo either. So I mean,
Right,
she's really
the
the first
technical
person.
details.
Yeah, exactly. She like really said everything. Like, I told her what I liked, and then she explained to me how I can incorporate that into my actual work. So without her, I probably wouldn't know how to like really like do what I want to do.
Right. Because that's really what like creative design, like you're curating an image to like display to the people, and you got to know how to like
Yeah, and I just like
translate that to the people.
absorb so many different mediums throughout the day, like from like watching anime
yeah, this is
to like watching like a foreign film to like just watching like somebody complain about somebody on YouTube and shit.
And you're able to draw like inspiration from it all, and,
Yeah.
and that's so cool. I know.
Not only just that, like the catalog in like this motherfucker's memory, bro. There's movies that we've both watched And he's like, oh, do you remember this scene on this part? And I'm like, no, dog. I'm like, I barely remember the cover.
I'm definitely the weird guy who
gets
likes like one part of a song or one part of a movie, and that's why that movie's so great to me.
Yeah.
Just one scene, and like I'll be like,
that's good though.
That's during the rest of the movie.
Hey, will you click on that? Hey, will you click on that picture? The bottom in the middle.
That's what really makes a creative designer is to pick up on those small details that maybe most people won't perceive.
Yeah, big shout out this picture. Those are like two of the most inspirational people in my life. Besides Hoody, or like my mom.
Yeah. Besides Kiva and Baka, these are the ones right here, bro.
Like, those two people probably like no one else like really like tells me like, bro, you're fucking killing it like that. Like,
hey, can we
all, like genuinely?
Can we all get a shot for Sloop P? Like, pass this shit around. Like this for Sloop P right here. Like,
and then
we can take a moment for this.
I don't know if you've heard Slubaka or SLU D or SLU C or anything like that, but there wouldn't be any SLUs without that guy right there.
And he's in the SLU colors that ain't even out yet. Like both of them are in SLU colors that ain't even out yet.
Yeah, everybody supports us, and I think everybody likes.
The only and I want to say this too. Hold on, I want to say this. The only reason I'm not in SLU colors, I have the Scooty bikes outside, but I rode my Scooty bike here, bro. Like I'd have been in SLU colors, but your boy was sweating and shit. Your boy was sweating.
I can corroborate.
But yeah, let's pour one up for SLU P.
Yeah, that's on God. This one's for SLU P.
A little moment for Big Bro.
Yo.
Yeah, this is a legend in question. Hey, Dad's team, you feel me? Go follow, bro. He need all your support.
Love you,
because he's a true king. I love y'all.
Far away car tap, Big Bro.
Hey, tap for you too. Off camera, man. Big producer trip.
But yeah, like the cool thing about Baka's shit is like, it's funny like being with him all the time because like I actually get to see like the behind the scenes shit of how this man actually like works and operates, because a lot of people would probably see some of these pictures and like, you only know so much without knowing the backstory or context of it, but like motherfuckers don't know like that the tricolor picture, like the second one that's in line right there, that shit literally took him like we had so many push pins.
Hey, you gotta go to. You look at the other photos too, though.
Hey, you gotta
hit next on that.
You gotta see me working on that.
Hit next on that. Like you gotta see the detail that's in this.
Like I go to work, I come back, and he's literally just fucking like.
I'm not done setting it up just for the picture because we haven't took the pictures.
So you say sheets over everything.
Like look at the ceiling. Yeah. The ceiling's a sheet.
The ceiling's a Bratz sheet that I dyed purple. The
Bratz dolls with a Z.
The bottom sheet.
And then Tac'd on his back.
The Bratz doll with a Z.
Everything except for the plushies is dyed.
Yeah, everything in there is hand dyed.
Even the
who else has a blood red Tac'd shirt? Nonetheless, a Tac'd Sabercast. Like there's two Tac'd shirts.
The Zeke
in that photo that are red, and then there's a beautiful one that's like.
And the
nobody
suits.
wearing shit.
Bro, and Zekin, like, shout out IT. You see IT just dropped 81
points.
And the Lakers are looking to sign him. And if this shit happens, he's getting a ring.
Gave up on him.
Don't give up on him.
Isaiah, I know.
But I felt his energy. That shit's crazy.
So, like, yeah, it's just literally getting to witness that shit and, like, just see it in real time is so crazy, bro. Like, it makes me always just want to be like, you know what? You can do whatever the fuck you're doing, like with a little bit more effort and shit. Cause like this man just that's the jump off. Is just to go that crazy.
He's dotting his T's and crossing it. Nope, dotting his I's and
crossing. Shout out to anybody who has to take a picture of me, cause I'm like super picky about any picture of myself.
I feel it, bro.
So like Collin took probably like 80 or like 90 pictures here.
With your hand in front of your face.
Yeah, bro. Every time I take pictures of this dude, I take like 120 photos type shit, like 80 photos, and like. Sometimes he'll like pick out two. That's if he posts them. Sometimes if it's not the right, lighting, or if it's not the right fit, or if it's not the right angles. Like, bro, I've done a whole photo shoot for this man, and like I feel like I take decent photos, but he was like, nah, these aren't it.
Just curious because I don't know you. Is that an artistic thing for you? Or is that like a personal choice?
It's definitely an artistic
thing.
Yeah,
that's some artistic
shit. I feel what you mean. I feel you on that, but it's like I just don't like.
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
But then when I see the shit he approves, I'm like, bro, you were right.
Yeah.
Right,
so I'm never like, he didn't like my pictures. Like,
you know what you want.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Your own art.
It's not even in terms of like people like bringing their creativity to my level. It's like just from a photographer's point of view, it's like you taking care of the object of the attention, so you have to make me look good. And like I don't need to look good, But if I take a picture of you, I'm gonna make you look good. I won't use any of your bad sides. I'll use everything that highlights you.
Yeah, like so, you ever get like a fit pic taken of you and shit, and like you like, hey, you can get the flick off me real quick.
Yeah, your homie takes a flick.
Bro, you didn't get these shoes in, bro.
And then they take a couple of them. They don't really know how to take it. Then you get it back, and then you're not trying to ask them the second time.
Your hat's lopsided,
and you're just
your
like,
shirt's up and shit. They take the picture, then you see yourself, and you're like, gee, like that ain't maybe look myself up a little bit.
That's real, bro.
I went through a little phase where I was taking fit pics and I was doing it by myself while out walking the kid and like having to try and angle the phone. I think I lasted like 4 or 5 pics and I gave up on that career. Yeah, it ain't happening for me.
I was lucky to take a photography class. I went to the Art Institute in Seattle before it closed down. I don't know if you guys know anything about that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so
the college?
Yeah. You get scammed?
Yeah. I wanted to go there too.
Did you get scammed?
My boy Sin used to stay by there.
With the audio production program they had there, not to get too deep, but with the audio production program specifically, I did not get scammed because of the professors, right?
You got your money's worth.
Faculty. Because of the faculty.
Because you still gained something.
Right? Great teachers.
But if you were getting a history degree, you would have been getting scammed. They did like the Trump University thing or what? Okay, yeah, go.
I took a photography class, and so I sort of gained a deeper understanding and a deeper appreciation for this. So it's really cool to hear this. That's all.
Yeah, and like I don't ever think my photography class is what helped me shoot. I think it's Miss Johnson herself. It's not because she taught photography, it's just because she cared.
Yeah.
Right.
Like she just talked to me like I was an actual person. Like if she wasn't talking it down to me like, I took all these classes and I went to this school. You don't know what you're doing, kid. Like, just take your Pringles can, we'll get some flicks off. I'll give you a C.
Right.
Like, she really held me down. And, like, this is not even really about photography, but she's caught me with, like, a bunch of shit, too. Like, illegal shit at school. Always let me rock. Was always like, well, you just don't even seem like a bad person.
Right.
So, like, clearly this is probably for you while you just, doing your whole little thing. Just stay safe.
Shout out to the good teachers out there, the ones that care.
A lot of them don't exist.
The ones that look past the surface level shit. Like, I had this teacher.
At least he got a good teacher in high school, bro. Like, literally my favorite teacher, bro, she my 3rd grade teacher, bro.
Mine was 8th grade.
My 3rd grade teacher, Miss Carter. That's the only teacher that let me shine, let me rock. Other than that, I mean, I had a couple, like little glimmers, but, like, I ain't never had a teacher that I'm like, oh, they make me happy to learn. Like, right. I want to be around them because they're giving me game. But, like, bro, like, throughout middle school, high school, bro, I never had a teacher that I, like, really ultimately, like, respected. Like, what they're doing. Like, what are you even here for?
Exactly.
This weak-ass check? I know these checks aren't really hitting like that, so, like, what are you really doing here?
I know.
I was that kid, bro.
And I had this one teacher, his name was, he was like the only teacher I remember because my high school memory is like dummy foggy. Like it wasn't even like I was doing anything that crazy, but I just none of it really rings that much of a bell.
Stuck with you.
But this dude named Mr. Schaefer, because I was in like the fucking IEP, like I didn't really try at math type shit, so I was in like those like slowed down classes and shit. And when I was in those classes, they always talked to the kids in there a certain way.
Oh right.
Like with like a stigma, like you're not trying, you're not blah blah blah, you're whatever. And like he always was the teacher that was in that group of teachers that taught IEP that talked to everybody like they were just a person. He looked past the surface level shit and like really was like tapping in, like asking me like what kind of shit I was into. And then he was trying to relate to me. And like when I was first getting into making clothes and shit, shout out to Baca for that creative direction and shit.
Come on.
It was definitely some good help.
You made me remember another teacher because actually I said like middle school and high school. I also had one in middle school. I want to say her name was like Dr. Johnson. I don't know. She was a boss lady though. Like the only black teacher at Truman Middle School. Oh yeah. And she was the only teacher that actually checked me. Like I don't even remember what the fuck was doing, but I'll never forget the word she said. She was like, "Hoody, you cute, but you ain't that cute. Like, do your fucking work." Like, she was not playing with me. And she was, like, one of the only teachers that I never got kicked out of her class because I would, like, I think it was, like, a history class or something. Right. I would, like, buckle down and do the work. Because she was actually, like, I don't remember. I hope I'm not saying the wrong name, but, I don't remember exact last name. But, like, I literally had 2 teachers my entire span of school that I'm like, oh, yeah, these 2 teachers impacted my life. Like, I have some other cool people, but, like, but a PE teacher don't mean shit.
No. I had one teacher, Mr. Beckstead at Mason. He was cool as fuck. Shout out to him.
That sounds familiar.
He
Did you teach at Tac'd?
No.
That name sounds
familiar. He just taught at
Mason for a long ass time.
But
maybe I just heard
like,
of him. Maybe he did come over to Truman or something, because that name sounds hella familiar.
He had like Albert Einstein here, but
I didn't have him, but
like,
that name sounds hella familiar.
I never did any homework, but I was always hella smart and I aced all the tests. So like the way he structured his grading system, and it was like 60% homework, 30% tests, and like 10% like participation attendance thing. And he was like, I have to fail him because he doesn't do any homework, but he aces all the tests, so it's not right. So he was like, you know, I have to change. He's like, I'm gonna change the way I grade like my class, because it shouldn't be about whether or not they can follow rules. You just can't do everything the same way every time. It's just about like,
everybody's not the same person, so he applies the same rules to every kid. He's not helping out every kid individually and touching them with their strengths.
Exactly.
If you understand the curriculum and you can pass the test, I have no idea why the homework would be necessary. The homework's just to impress like the greater like academic standard.
Right.
That shit always has me fucked up. Like, why do I have to go home? Like, first of all, you don't know what I'm dealing with at home. That's bad. I got a solid home. Don't get it fucked up.
Yeah.
Keep it in your thing. But like, you don't know what I'm dealing with at home. So like, why are you giving me work at home? Like homework, the whole concept, like home and work.
Were you not able to?
Those two things don't even go together. So like, if you have 6 to 8 hours in a day to teach me and to execute what you're doing as a teacher, I'm even minusing out lunch and recess and all that, where that's still developmental. I feel for kids to just socialize and do their thing. But like, what do y'all really have to offer me? And they're saying, no, go do some shit at home. When you don't know what I have access to, you don't know how easy it is for me to get a pencil and paper, you don't know how easy it is for me to get a computer. That's what always had me fucked up in school. The whole concept of homework. Like, why is your establishment here if I have to take some shit home and do it?
Yes.
Like, we should be doing this schoolwork at school. Like,
so my girl,
that whole concept to me never made sense.
Kids are like sponges too, right?
Right.
So like, why does 10 hours of homework that doesn't equate to a child being a sponge?
Well, then I was always in detention, so the even more fucked up part, I really never did homework at home. I did homework in ISS.
Yeah. So
I'm like, okay, cool, this is what ISS is for. So if I get in a little whatever at school, if I talk shit to someone or get in a little scrap, I'm gonna be in ISS and not have shit to do. So now I can do my homework. So I'm doing homework while I'm at school. So now I'm away from all the students and all the beneficial shit where I can learn and actually get some information in. All I'm doing is like computing. I'm writing the shit down from the book that y'all gave me the answers to. And then I turn that shit in. So I still pass all my classes, but like most of my adolescence, bro, like as far as like in like elementary and middle school, bro, I'm in ISS. Like, how does that help me?
I think a lot of that's institutionalized stuff.
Bro, yeah, they're getting you ready for jail. I'm like, bro, no. I'm not getting booked.
I don't think there's.
I literally did no homework.
That's what like my girl.
Like
I only did homework at ISS.
I did nothing.
My girl was like, she was a rule follower and like she was. Maybe not teacher's pet. She did all her homework. She was smart, like everything. But like she got to the point where she didn't want to go to school anymore. So she like before she got put on, what's that called? Like the Becca Bill or whatever. Mm-hmm. That's funny because her name's Becca. So, but like
I'm definitely a Becca Bill celebrity.
Yeah, like
I've definitely been to 6th Ave to go to the juvenile center plenty of times.
That's what I'm saying.
They go tap in about, hey, look. But you're gonna start coming to school. We're gonna start running your mom's pockets. How does that sound to you?
She would come in. Yeah, I know.
You're like for sure.
She would come into school and like once a week she would pick up her homework for the week, get it all done, come drop it off, and she still had A's, but she just got to the point where she was like, you know, this is kind of stupid and left. But
every kid's just not the same. Sorry, some kids are just naturally smarter. That kid who can do everything in one day, you should let him live his life like that.
Right.
You shouldn't force him to accommodate everybody else's standards.
But you know, not everybody's built like that.
Exactly. And it could be better if you just let him do his thing.
The fact that they don't even give you a second option of like, you know, there is other things than going out there and getting a job for someone.
Teachers aren't hyped on second options.
No, well, you know. I think
that's because they're a teacher.
They ain't paid.
Teachers
literally.
But
they're not paid shit.
Teachers, counselors, principals, none of them motherfuckers are gonna tell you what you're actually gonna like be talented at.
Nope.
No one ever told me. They're like, oh, you can do this and this and that, but like go to college. I'm like, for what?
When you institutionalize something and you make it about numbers and quotas,
and it's monetized. It's monetized.
Yeah, it's like saying, it's really honestly.
I'm not saying it's not beneficial to certain people, but like for like certain kids, like bro, going to school and like having a 4-year plan for college, and like you're literally just putting yourself into debt.
Right. Well, yeah, that's.
I'm like, okay, I got to dig out of this hole now to even be what I wanted to be.
Yeah, that's my thing with college.
Yeah.
Regular, like elementary through high school, only shit I like about that is because, like Hoody said, you don't know what niggas have to go through at home. So allowing some people to go to school honestly is a good thing.
Yeah, it's a break.
Because, like, that
might be
away.
A break for some people. That might be a meal for some people. Like, you really don't know what the fuck is happening behind closed doors.
Which is insane. I feel like no teacher thinks about that, but it's insane.
Like, it's like, bro, I pull up for breakfast, you feel me? Like, I had it. Like, I could have ate at home. But I know some homies that put up for breakfast and like that's the only time they're eating. And if they want to leave school early and they don't get lunch, they're not eating lunch.
No.
They don't have $5 in their pocket. They don't have $1 in their pocket, and their mom sure as hell don't got shit in their pocket.
Well,
so that's something to think about. Like some kids literally showed up to school to eat.
Literally.
And I feel like people don't understand that shit.
There has been nowhere for these kids to show up for the last, like, what, almost 2 years
Yeah,
now.
and think about all this shit during COVID.
Right.
Like, okay, there's like this drive-through, and you can get here like a drive-through. Like, I don't have access to a car, so I'm just accessibility to food for school is like a big reason why I feel like a lot as far as like the minorities and people who are underprivileged, like that's why they're going to school. I'm going to get my free food. Well, like, I got to sit through this bullshit, but at least I'm eating in the morning. If I show up early enough, then I'm eating at lunch, so I'm good. And if I have an after school program, they might give me a snack, so I'm good. When I get home, I might not have to eat anything. Like that's literally some shit for kids, and I think most school shit, like they don't think about that shit, bro.
Real quick, I gotta give a shout out to Tacoma Public Schools because they did put on a lot of feed the kids.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, they did.
They did their thing, but they ain't gonna feed everybody.
I felt guilty even for myself, but you know, like it's like when my wife and I went for our one kid at the time, we have 2 kids. So
I mean, I'm glad they're doing something, but then again, like
went when we needed it. Right?
Not everybody has a car to even get there.
Excess.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, and that's in North End Tacoma. So I'm like, man.
Bro, think about the people who are underprivileged and can't. Like, you guys were blessed enough to probably drive there and go pick up some food and bring it home.
Right.
Think about the people who don't have access to even a vehicle to get there and go access that food. So that's what's fucked up to me.
Well, and it's easy to go like worst case scenario like that, but even just think about like the parents who can't go back to work because their kids have to stay home and homeschool all day.
So
and maybe they're
shit.
6. They're not old enough to stay home alone. So now this parent can't go back to work because their kid has to do online school.
Can't afford the babysitter and shit. You feel me?
Well, and good luck getting your kid to pay attention. Like actually pay attention. Like good luck getting your kid to pay attention in school. Like let alone on a laptop for it's still 8 hours. Like they get an hour off for recess, but they got to come right back and like.
Well, especially since most of the technology that these kids have been doing their schoolwork on has always been for entertainment. So
right.
Imagine your entire life you go to this one thing for entertainment only, and then it's like mom and dad are like, school. Like that's gotta be fucking hard.
Well, and then
cause some psychological problems.
The kid comes out of the room, and what does he see? He sees mom on Zoom with her whole work, and they're like, okay, like. If this is not a direct line to what your future is gonna look like I don't know what's a better example.
I mean, it's not necessarily bad though, but as far
as
how technology has evolved our lives.
I'm really a social person too.
I am too.
So
I live
like,
for people.
It's more like for me, taking your kids away from the other kids is a problem.
Yeah.
Like having your kids only be around adults is fucking retarded to me. They'll learn nothing.
I got a 2-year-old right now, and just the other day I took him down to the park, and like it's not like he doesn't have any interaction with other kids, but I mean this is my first kid, so I don't know what like the normal amount of interaction is with other kids.
Logically,
we've only been in a pandemic. Yeah,
still figuring it out.
But like the cutest little girl came up, she's like, I want to play with the baby. Like I want to play tag, and like. He's bigger than her, but he's a boy and she's a girl, so I don't know, maybe they're about the same age, but like he's still not speaking yet, so like he's like taking her stuff and I'm like communicating on his behalf, but like, you know, he doesn't know how to share, he doesn't know how to do this and that, and like it's just
because you need to be around
because he needs to be around
people like that
to
do shit like that. If you never get the chance to try to do that,
well, and
it's never gonna do.
Not to put the onus just on like
you need interaction with other kids.
Yeah, so like the only
I was an only kid for a long time.
Other people that are other color than you and are other, you know, sex than you, other race than you, like that's beneficial to have as a child. Because you see, everything's not the same. Everything doesn't look like what I have at home.
Right.
Not everybody looks like this.
And that's
so that's a blessing if a kid can see that early.
And the only other example he has is like me and his mom, and like, you know, I regret to say like I don't go out of my way to explain sharing to my wife to like set a good example for the kid, which is, you know, something I can work on, but like He needs to see like other
How are you
kids.
supposed to think about that as like something you're supposed to do?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, you gotta learn.
You're supposed to teach your kid a lot of shit, but teach your kid how to share. Like,
this is my first
that's
time
what
living
school's
life.
I gotta teach him how to use the toilet and shit.
That's what daycare's for. That's what other kids are for.
And so like this little girl, like he like tried to take this shovel from her, and she was super nice about it. She was like, yeah, you can play with it, but I'm like, hey bud, like you can't take stuff from people. She was nice, you can play with it, but when she wants it back,
that's all you can do.
You gotta bring it.
Oh yeah, he
back
pulled
to
up to the pop-up with me and Hayes, and he was like grabbing the tennis racket, like,
God,
hey, what's good?
Yes, bro.
Coming through, and I'm like, yo, bro, you gotta chill.
Yeah, he's a wild dude.
You can't expect kids not to have energy.
We went to Paradise afterwards, and they were just getting set up, and he's tearing down everything in there. I'm like,
bro, yeah, he was going crazy.
Yeah,
especially if you're like a kid like me who has like really bad ADHD too.
That's me.
Like,
and he got it straight from his dad.
I probably was like hell.
Like
growing up with my mom.
I have
shit.
specific memories of my mom crying because of some stuff I did.
I've definitely done some foul shit when I was like a little
I'm
kid.
serious,
Like,
bro. I'm not proud of
I
it.
had to just learn from like, oh, that's not how that works or whatever. Like nothing too crazy, but
I got
definitely was a
hogtied
big
by
ball
a babysitter
energy,
and thrown in the hogtied by a babysitter and thrown in the pantry till my dad got home.
Real quick, did you guys hear about this fucking 13-year-old kid who got duct taped on a flight?
He wasn't 13.
I heard about
That's what I
that.
heard on the radio.
Bro,
I seen a grown ass man who was hella drunk
He was
that got duct
19,
taped.
But he wasn't 13 though.
He's definitely a grown ass man.
They still duct taped a human being though to a seat.
Which is fucked
Regardless of
up.
the fact. Regardless of their age
It's
or
fucked up
anything.
regardless, but like it was like a belligerent drunk white dude.
Wait.
Shut up.
Who duct taped who? What's
The
the
flight
It was like a
attendant.
flight attendant. It was
a big black flight
He probably
attendant,
gonna pull a video.
But this skinny
That's
white kid was
crazy.
drunk and like he was touching on the female flight attendant's breast.
The hardest
And
thing
so
too is like, you don't know my dad.
Yeah, he's
you don't
like,
know my dad.
We're 2 million. Like he's flying on
Is the
Frontier
video?
in the back.
He was like, my parents are worth $2 million.
Yeah, bro, it's nuts.
Yeah, this
like,
shit.
so how did they restrain his hands?
Bro, they taped his motherfucker to the seat.
They started with his mouth.
It was like a fat,
They
light
just-
skinned
he came up behind him and
motherfucking
just
flight
started
attendant. He was
hitting
like,
him.
oh yeah, we're rap. Like,
Yeah,
bro,
bro.
duct tape him. I heard the flight attendants got fired
Yeah, somebody
too.
jacked
Which
the
makes
flight
sense. Like, don't
attendant
duct tape him. But like,
No,
also.
it's normal though. Like,
But also, hey, where the fuck is the air marshal? Like, don't they have handcuffs on the
Yeah,
flight?
that's a good call.
But it looks like it's normal. Look at all these stories. Duct tape. This passenger was duct taped.
13-year-old boy duct taped. Go up. You're right.
So there really was a
That's
13-year-old boy. I didn't hear about this one. I just seen the drunk white dude. So this might be a whole different one.
So
Yeah, I probably seen a different one.
Let me go
Yeah, this is not what I seen.
let me go on a quick rant while we get to the
That's
bottom
not real
of
rent.
this. By the time you guys see this episode, I'll be in Hawaii for like 3 weeks, so we'll figure out how we're doing releases. But in doing that, so I have to go get a COVID test, and like, dude, this whole thing is insane. I got extorted by the state of Hawaii
I
for
heard about
$300
that,
I have to. So they have on their behalf, they do have like, they are partnered with like Walgreens and CVS, where they have like so they have there's
Not
like
to stop you, but the state of Hawaii is partnering with Walgreens and CVS.
yes.
Okay, go on.
Yeah. Listen.
That's crazy.
Yes. So they have, because there's like 4 or 5 different kinds of COVID tests you can take. Some are more reliable than others.
Yeah,
this and
there's
that.
3 types of COVID
They
out
got
right
that
now.
home John's now and shit.
Yes.
There's
No-
no strains around, so.
So you have to go through one of their trusted partners to get a specific kind of shot within 72 hours of the last leg of your departure, with the results in hand before you get to the plane.
They're so hard.
But you can only schedule the test within 7 days of your flight. But they only have so many of those tests. So they run it like a fucking Yeezy slot, like it's like a Yeezy supply, like checkout queue, bro. It's crazy. They randomly update.
Shout out
it
Yeezy
with,
Supply. A lot of regular people will never be able to get Yeezy without Yeezy Supply.
I know.
I personally don't wear Yeezys like that, but my first 250s I got from Yeezy Supply, so shout out Yeezy Supply.
Hey, they're definitely for the people.
Yes, but
Good resource.
so they have like you can request an appointment, but they only have like 13 appointments every 24 hours, and you have to like, bro, I literally hit up my homie who has like a sneaker bot, and I'm like, bro, can you run an
You mean the COVID bot real quick?
can you run an activity
You got me?
monitor on Walgreens? Like, I will pay you for that. Just let me know what's going on. Like, it is nonsense. And so none of that came up. And then so I'm like trying to figure out how to buy a test, and like even those, dude, it was just nonsense. I spent like 2 days trying to figure out how to get this test, and it cost me $150 per test.
Yeah, I don't want to be the tinfoil on the head guy, but that just makes me think like there's this weird round table of executives of like random states and just random like things. Like no, there's no doctors there.
Right.
It's just a bunch of people who are like trying to like figure out how they can better their state or better the profit margin for like their state taking money and shit. So I can just only imagine they're like, how can we use COVID to make more money?
100%.
I know it's fucking weird.
It's not
but it's
weird.
Like,
that makes perfect sense.
Did I not do that, Spencer? Did you not do that, right? As soon as you saw an opportunity of holy shit, the whole world is stopping.
I'm gonna make money.
How do we make money from this?
And
like,
how do we change
time to make the advances quicker and with
the
things I didn't need people to do? How do I do that faster?
But the weird shit though is like y'all can like provide your podcast and like make money off that during COVID because people have hella time, so they have time to watch your shit. That's not the same as someone trying to extort you for money to come into their state. That's fucking weird.
And so
that's trying to like, oh, he's from America, he can fucking afford it. I don't care if I can afford it. You're trying to hoe me.
Well, let me take it one step forward. So the correct test to get into Hawaii is called like a PCR RT, so a PCR rapid test, right?
That is correct.
And so these are the ones that there's only a specific amount of them. They're nowhere near as available as the regular PCR test, but it's still a PCR. It's just not the PCR RT, right? So the PCR test you can get free at any Walgreens, CVS, anywhere. That's what they're doing. That's what they're like the broken.
It's a near mandate.
Yeah.
To go get one.
Right. But these PCR RTs are the only ones that Hawaii accept, and every single one of their trusted partners, no insurance is accepted, $150 for a test. Some of them were up to like.
What does no insurance accepted mean?
That means there's no way you're not paying.
Yeah, like I get it, but like I don't.
Yes. And so like, but like at Walgreens, those same tests are free. So like insurance can't cover it, but they partnered with these companies that are like, no insurance accepted, but you can. They even have them
at like. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
Bro,
that's crazy.
It's a racket. So
you
like,
bring more money to your state if you let more people in. I know you don't want to be that state that accidentally lets in the dude who has like the fake COVID card on him. And he's like, yeah, I got the vaccine, bro.
Yeah.
And he taps into his homie's app. He's like, yeah, homie just plugged me in. 20 buckies. I got the bootleg John and shit. You feel me?
Like, I know people are finessing, but I just feel like more than likely someone trying to make a trip to Hawaii is for like a vacation reason.
Yes.
So like, you're not fucking going to Hawaii to fucking ruin the comedy and shit.
Bro, I'm staying put.
No one's fucking
I'm hanging in my resort.
Yeah, it's not the Birdman palm rub like, I got him.
You take it back, what's ours.
And so at SeaTac, because like I'm a worst case scenario because my mom's tripping out. She's like, just get the vax and then you don't have to worry about this. The vax is free. And I'm like, that doesn't sit well with me. There's a reason why it's free and all this is going on and nothing sits well with me.
Talk to him, big bro. We don't gotta get deep into it, but let's just be realistic for a second.
Nothing in the last 2 years has made any sense, so I'm definitely...
It made sense, but not a lot.
Not a whole lot.
A lot of this shit's left out for some reason.
But so I'm like, what's worst case scenario? Because my mom's like, I'm leaving you if you can't get on the plane. And I'm like...
Queen.
Yeah.
She gotta get to her back, bro. I fuck with it.
I'm not mad at it.
I understand. And I'm like, all right, so what is worst case scenario? Like, I've already paid up front. Like, I'm going to Hawaii. So like you can, even if you don't have your like COVID, and here's the other thing, if you fly to Hawaii, you have like homework to do before you go there. You have to like set up this whole account with a portal with your itinerary. This is when we're landing, this is what we're doing, this is where we're going, like this is my negative COVID test or my vaccine
test.
That's
disgusting.
Bro, it's
I'm sorry.
insane.
I don't want to be that guy who's like, I don't want to be aggressive. I don't want to keep tabs. I don't want to look into things.
I'm going on vacation to get obliterated.
I mean, realistically,
yes.
I'm sorry to take over your time, but this is worse than what happened after 9/11. Like,
this is what I'm saying. This is exactly where I'm heading.
Like, they were definitely owing people for 9/11. They're definitely making shit extra. But I don't remember having anyone have to do fucking homework or get a specialized test.
Or tell them what you're doing when you're there. It's not like...
There you go. Yeah, that's it right there.
You definitely should have...
Why I brought up it's worse than 9/11 is you have to tell somebody exactly what you're doing.
Well, and
this is a fucking event. Give me an interior for me.
It's one thing if they're asking you at the gate. Yeah.
Buy a ticket to another state within our...
domestic.
Sovereign nation.
If you go through customs,
freely without the government giving a fuck about what I'm doing,
Yeah, if you go through customs, they're gonna ask you like, "What's your business here?" Okay, easy. Like, you're just asking me in person. I can tell you what. But if I have to fill out like in text, this is where I'm gonna be for this long, and this is what I plan. Like, this is not like what I signed up for, bro.
Especially when it's a state that's like in the United States.
So I touchdown. I'm on Hubs. You feel me?
Right,
I'm finna get a bottle in like an hour. You feel me?
And so
the big bros out there, we gonna link.
And so at the like the gifts, the tax-free shops or the Hudson shops in SeaTac, you can buy a test for $175. You can take it in the airport, and then
you said how much?
$175.
You said in the airport?
In the airport.
Okay.
And it has a 24-hour overnight FedEx Express label, so you can fly there, quarantine until you get your results, and then you may resume.
See, that doesn't even add up to me.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, bro. I'm like, this is nonsense. Can I please just spend my money with you? Like, this is not.
That's all you care about.
That's all
you want is my money.
I just want to drink.
That's what you're already trying to finesse right now is my money through this extra systeming. Just take my money regularly. You already were doing that.
It's criminal.
Yeah.
Hey, you upgrade your shit to first class, they don't ask you no questions.
That's true. Real quick, I just wanted to show you guys since we talked about this. Alright, so last week, August 3rd, a man was duct taped to the seat after allegedly groping some flight.
I mean, I feel like the video I seen showed him groping her.
And then this week that I just heard on
This
the
is
radio
just this
today
week?
on my way to work earlier.
They watched
is
that.
A teenager.
They watched that instead.
Hey,
I
hold on.
heard it was a 13-year-old.
Hey, do y'all think?
At any rate, it looks like they got.
Play this.
Do y'all think that the Delta flights are cheaper because there's a Delta variant?
Ooh, same way Corona's stock price went down?
Because you might want to fly with Delta.
Yeah, maybe.
I want to see this.
Dude, what is? Look at this buff ass dude. These are not flight attendants. Yeah, he's definitely like ex-military.
Look at these other passengers though, holding this motherfucker down.
Dude, that's
so don't think of the but don't think the flight attendant is alone. You see these two grown ass.
Crazy.
That's for sure.
You see these two grown ass men holding this man. Right?
That's some hoe shit.
That's all you see.
That's some hoe shit.
But the other dude, play the one on the left.
The other
he
dude,
was wilding. He was cussing at everybody. He was like spitting at people. Like he was grabbing flight attendants' titties. Like he was on his.
I'm no saint. I'm not the greatest person, but like 13 years old, older, I really don't care. I'm just saying. If I'm on public transportation. And you're, I don't even know.
I'm still asking, where the fuck was the air marshal? Because, like, why do you need duct tape if you have handcuffs?
Yeah.
There's multiple spaces. Like, okay, you could have this dude sitting where the flight attendants sit. But this white dude, he was wilding, for sure. But
kick him off the flight.
I mean, they're already in the air when he started wilding. Yeah. I mean, he was wilding, I think, earlier. But, like, when he really started wilding, they were in the air.
So, it's looking like just from what I looked up, I tried to find this specific one. Yeah, look, he is wild out. I tried to find this specific story.
He's cussing at people, he's spitting at people, and then he's like locking with the dude, and then that dude that you see right there, he's the one that ends up taping that dude up, which obviously he should lose his job. He shouldn't fucking tape people up. But where are their motherfucking I'm
air
losing the word. No, I mean air marshals, but like where are their
look, if he punches
where are their
somebody,
tools? Like why don't they have the tool to be like, look, okay, air marshals on this flight, arrest this man because he's wilding.
Right.
So the fact that any flight attendant thought that he had to duct tape him, like why would you even put that dude in that position? Yeah. Because obviously there wasn't an air marshal on the flight, or he would have been handcuffed.
You gotta have somewhere to restrain somebody.
Like there's gotta be a way.
If you're gonna have to restrain somebody, you can't
duct tape them. That's hella inhumane. And then I don't know if you've seen the whole video, but they duct tape his mouth, and then he gets out. And he's like, help, help, help. And everybody's like, bro, you were just being super racist and you were like groping flight attendants. So obviously no one helped him. But it is fucked up that you're sitting on a flight for 6 hours or however long it was.
Everyone's
2 hours.
laughing at
Taped
you.
to your chair. Like, that's
I don't know what Cuddy said.
That's not humane.
I don't know if it was sexual. I don't know if it was racist. I don't know any of that. I really don't care, to keep honest with you at the same time. Just don't put duct tape on someone's fucking mouth. That just doesn't make sense to me. No. Me personally, I'm saying it because I have a mustache and a beard. So if I was to lose any hair, so you thinking I violated anything from you guys?
Yeah, crazy. I violated the flight attendant.
I'm like the Punisher. I'm coming for you.
Hey, but they're not fucking with the beard. They're not fucking with the beard, bro.
Hey, so here's worst case scenario. So
They're not fucking with the beer bros.
We're flying to
He's beer bros. He's off camera,
with
but he
a
got a beer.
2-year-old
Just so y'all know.
who has to wear a mask the entire time. And my kid has never worn a mask. Like, I have no intention of, like...
And he was wilding, so he might not be fucking with the mask.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. So, like, my girl's tripping, and she's like, they're gonna kick us off. I'm like...
They can't kick you off the flight.
Yes, they can.
That's a fucked up thing to have to think about.
Pull those videos up. You wanna...
For kids not wearing a mask?
Yes, bro, 2 years old. He's two years and, like, 3 months.
What flight are you... What?
Alaska Airlines.
Yeah, you're good on... I feel like you're good on Alaska. Alaska's good people.
I hope
Alaska's good people. I feel like you're good.
done me right. I've never had any problem.
If you were flying Frontier, like that motherfucking broke ass dude who apparently his parents were worth $2 million was flying, you're probably gonna get pulled off. But the fact you're on Alaska, they're like family oriented. They got Russell Wilson in their brochures. Like,
Hoody's right. Shout out my sister Shelby. She's a
shout out Aunt Vicky. She worked for Alaska too. Alaska's a great company.
No, I know. But you said you're getting on Alaska, so
I don't think they're gonna do you foul because Alaska's good people.
He's under 5 years old. No one's gonna even say shit about him wearing masks.
I am in agreement with you.
I feel like TSA.
All it takes is one person to be in disagreement.
I feel like TSA is more of a battle than Alaska Airlines.
I ain't worried about TSA.
Which is crazy because you got to get him through that line. And if he doesn't want to be, compliant, wearing a mask through that line, that's going to be an issue.
Yeah,
so you might not even thought about that, but I feel like TSA is going to be more of an issue than Alaska because you didn't give TSA no money, but you gave Alaska money.
So that's my fear. Like
you paid to be on an Alaska
obviously
flight.
I'm not going to be unreasonable and like be out here like wilding. Like I'm going to do my best to like keep us in compliance, but at the end of the day, we are dealing with a 2-year-old. So like my only fear is like getting an unreasonable person who thinks they can reason with the 2-year-old, like, and then from there, that's what I'm saying.
One of the COVID rules that seems stupid as fuck to me. But if you're drinking or you're eating, you don't have to wear a mask. So have little bro carry his sippy cup everywhere he goes.
We gonna do it.
He's drinking something.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Like you're not gonna kick me off the flight.
Trust me, I've been maneuvering
I feel like
my
you're
way
gonna be
through the
good on an
pandemic
Alaska
without a
flight,
mask.
and so does bro. But I mean, I obviously wish you the best. But I feel like you'll be fine,
I'm not
bro.
tripping. And here's the other plus. All we need to do is take off. There's nowhere to land once we take off.
Exactly. They gonna kick you off. I mean, hey, you don't want to get little bro duct tape to the seat though. He's not having that.
I'll bring my own.
Spencer's finna be on World Star if they try to tape his son to the
No
seat.
shit. I'm wild.
That's on God and his son.
Tag him with me.
If you try to tape my son to the seat, I don't even gotta swing.
Yeah, I'll tape up the flight attendants.
I'm swinging. Flight attendant
decides.
Bro, even if it's even if it's the air marshal, if the air marshal tried to handcuff my son, bro, and he was under 5, even if he was 21, I'm dropping him. Fuck an air marshal and a flight attendant.
Child underneath, probably the ages of 11, because 12 to 13 years old.
I feel like I would be such a protective parent. It doesn't matter the age. The age doesn't matter.
In a casket from Hawaii.
Hey, the age doesn't matter. I feel like if your kid is grown, if that's your kid, like I feel like my mom, shout out Kiva, if they did me like that on the flight, she don't care. She's going to jail for the rest of her life. Bro. She doesn't care. She's catching a body.
For my kid.
For sure.
We'll never see it last.
I don't have a kid, but I'll do the same thing.
I was letting him
Or if that was my nephew, shout out Gumby. If it was Noah on the flight and they done take Noah to the seat, I'm killing whoever flight attendant, whoever air marshal. I'm killing you.
I really don't care how old the kid is. It's just more like if it is under 11, it's just like. My nigga, what's wrong with you?
Yes, come on.
Who are you trying to beat?
What
are you trying to stop?
Flex on an
Who the fuck is he gonna hurt?
Yeah.
You can't reason with a fucking.
You don't have that.
Minus 12-year-old.
No.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so if you guys
or an adult, like I don't know. I feel like there's levels to the shit.
Right, where you're contemplating getting pissed off about the what ifs.
Well,
hey, Alaska, you better not play my boy. If y'all see this shit, don't play my boy Spencer.
I watched a couple of videos that really got my blood boiling, and I'm like, look.
Nah, stay off YouTube, bro. Y'all think gonna be alright.
I don't have any.
I feel like, I probably like went on like 5-6 cool like little trips. Like a lot of them were like local, but I went to Cali. I went to Vegas
during
a
the
few
pandemic.
Times. Like the traveling is not too crazy as long as you follow.
That's
the rules.
what I figured.
And especially if you have children, bro, they're gonna like look out for you.
Yeah.
Especially on a company like Alaska, bro. They're not out here to be like, oh, let's kick them off the flight. Like they're looking out for you and your kid.
Yeah.
You got cool ass flight attendants that are looking out for you and your kid. Shout out Alaska Airlines.
Oh, yeah.
There's some other airlines like that I don't trust. Like I'm not like Frontier, like for sure you might get kicked off your flight, but like I feel like you should feel confident flying Alaska to Hawaii. You're good.
Where's the coolest place you guys have ever flown?
Yo, before we talk about that, I ain't trying to cut nobody off, finessing, but you know, this is the first time a SLU has ever been on a podcast, like a SLU. Hoody's a SLU for sure, but like, I'm definitely the number one SLU.
Oh,
you know, I don't want to hold nobody, so like,
he's the
this is important. You know, shout out Spencer. I haven't caught your name yet because you haven't been introduced to me.
Oh, I'm so
nice
sorry.
to meet you, big bro. So like, really, like, you guys brought us out here, and you got the SLUs on the podcast. That's fucking insane to me.
It's
because
crazy.
like I feel like a lot of like Hoody said, people like who are important know about me and about us and know what we do, but they still don't tap in.
Right.
And the fact that you guys are the first people ever that
Unless you're Umi.
that's
Because
fucking
Umi
insane
stays
to
tapped
me.
in. Shout out my brother.
Honestly,
Oh, Umi's my
That's the only
motherfucking
one.
nigga.
That's
There's
the only
zero
real
questions,
one.
but Umi doesn't have a podcast
No,
anymore.
no.
So Umi brought me on a podcast.
No, I know.
So I just want to sit here and really, for real, a lot of podcast people know about me. A lot of podcasts about Collin, know about Hoody. Me and him have like 3 or 4 podcasts coming up, like in line.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but like,
And y'all just were the first ones.
but you guys are the
Chronological
first
order.
people ever to reach out to the SLUs
Beautiful.
and have the SLUs on a
want us
podcast
here as a
together
unit.
and talk about
Yes.
SLU shit, and that's really important to me. We don't really get that kind of love from everybody, so I just wanted to stop everything for a second and really mention that's awesome. That's fucking hard. You feel me? Like really shout y'all out.
So good.
Like,
So irreplaceable.
It's crazy.
appreciate you.
Honestly,
Hey, love.
it's crazy
All right, one more
because
time. We got it.
I got you.
it's crazy because I've had so many people over the years that have tried to hear my story and have tried to hear Baka's story that like have just never really gotten the full thing either. Just because I feel like there's people that genuinely care, but there's a lot of people that genuinely don't care, but they always try to act like they care. And I can hear in the tone like when they
Hey,
talk
bro,
and
what
some
you been
shit.
up to, bro? What you been? Oh, I seen that shit you was working on, bro. That
And
shit
it-
was cool.
And it's crazy now being at the point where, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, you know, like when somebody goes through some shit and like they kind of, I don't want to say fall off, but like, you know, maybe like they kind of have like a little period where they're just not their hottest, and you know, you're gonna have people around you and shit that are gonna be like, Cuddy fell off, you know, they're not really gonna know like the whole backstory of like what the fuck motherfuckers are going through and shit. And then when you come back up to that point and you even exceed that point, which is where Baka and I are at, like, we're definitely at like the peak of wherever we've been at, and just not planning to stop anytime soon. Like 3 brands under my belt. Baka's got like multiple things under his belt too. The SLU brand, tons of other shit that he's working on. I don't even want to speak on, but like it's just crazy watching people in the whatever. I guess I'll say the word community. The community that used to show me mad love and used to be all up on our dicks and shit.
Talk to him.
And then motherfuckers now that they see that we're starting to get to this point where people that they respect are starting to give us that respect.
Talk to him.
They really, it's
they wanna
really
make up for
fucking
lost
funny.
time.
Like, I noticed that shit. I'm not gonna air it out right now just because whatever.
No,
it's
we
not
gonna
gonna
drop
be
it.
out.
We're far from coming here to talk about anybody.
Nah.
But we
we've
noticed
definitely
this shit.
noticed a lot of weird shit in the community.
Yeah.
And I'd love to say this like from my heart. There would really be no community without the SLUs.
Hey,
period.
Hey, no. Let me just bring this factor out. How long do we have the studio? 2 years.
Something like that.
So
yeah.
how many people message you like, "Hey, bro, it's crazy." Like I just announced we're not at Coop Studios anymore. As far as the address, Coop Studios is still an entity and a thing. But as far as a physical location, which a lot of y'all didn't pull up to, but wanted to message me and be like, "Oh, bro, that's crazy. You should have done one more event there. Whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop." When
shout out to people who never knew I was part of Coop Studios either.
And the landlord's
I know
raising
who you
rent and
are.
shit, yeah. And then the people are like, "Oh, you're homies with Hoody." You feel me? Like the levels that we went to acquire a space and to put on events for people and to just showcase what we had to bring to the table and how many like a percentage of people who actually came and showed us love, and then the people who interacted with me online.
The first vintage pop-up ever in
It's
Tacoma.
crazy. It's crazy.
The first vintage pop-up ever.
Pretty much.
I've
Like,
been
if you're not
alive
talking-
for nearly 27
Yeah,
years.
if you're not talking-
I can account the years.
If you're not talking true vintage or like people don't, but as far
And
as
the
like
true
a
vintage people,
pop-up,
I know the true vintage people. I know all the vintage people
They're
in the
not-
real
they haven't
community.
done it.
I literally know them. I know all the old
I still
cats,
got the flyer.
the young cats, All of them. So trust me, I know these. They didn't even know what the word pop-up meant.
From 2016, me and this dude.
These are all old
maybe
cats
even before
who
that.
got shit from 1980 and down was the only kind of thing that was vintage. When I came into the game, the 90s shit was trash.
They're making fun of us, bro. I'm gonna pick anything from 1990s and up. So I'm gonna pick anything that's from the 2000s or 90s.
Right.
And I'm showing them like, oh, this is fire. Like this is Britney Spears tee. This is Christina Aguilera tee. Oh, this Looney Tunes tee. And they're like, yeah, I found this fucking sick ass 86 da 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 da. And my shit's not cool. Yeah. Right? But then 10 years later, when they find the same shit that I said was cool and they didn't fuck with, I can't even buy it from them now. Oh, they already got a person that likes this shit, or you know, like, and especially like subgenres like rap and like anime, like in those vintage communities, there's people are like, oh, I don't want this fucking little scrappy tee, gross. I don't want this fucking cowboy bebop tee, gross. And now they're trying to secure the shit and hold on to it and gatekeep it. There's people who really fuck with it. It's crazy, bro.
35th Vintage and Northwest Throwbacks are the only people who ever sold vintage in the greater Washington area. I know because I looked into it and always checked for it and was trying to buy from people. So, of course.
Shout out Rio.
You know?
He's one of the only people actually buying.
I'm not going to shout out Mark. Like I said, I'm not here to talk about anybody. But Mark is the person who owned Northwest Throwbacks
He did spend some money, but I'm not going to shout him out.
He's definitely the reason Northwest Throwbacks exists. So I'll acknowledge that. And outside of Northwest Throwbacks and 35th Vintage, there was no one putting on a vintage pop-up or escapade for people outside of owning a store.
There's nothing.
Me and Hoody did Dunk Exchange, and we're the first people ever to vend.
What year? 2013.
Yeah, we're first.
2013.
You can ask people who run Dunk Exchange. We're the first people ever to bring non-shoes to Dunk Exchange.
They were like, "Are you sure you're gonna do
bring
it?"
Vintage clothes.
Bro, I had 7 pairs of Bapestas. Shout out Il Chris that I got from Il Chris. I had 7 pairs of Bapestas. Yeah, that was all that was on my table. And then I had vintage hats from this dude, and we both collectively had a rack of gear. And what did we do? Clear like, I don't know. And 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 grand in a day.
We definitely went
off trades and money and cash that was spent. Like, and this was 2013. So we've been working together for that long. Like there's a picture of me with no beard and Baka with the baby beard. Like we've been cooking for that long. And there's people that are like, oh yeah, I never heard you guys. You guys are coming out of nowhere. Or like, oh, I don't know if you guys really have the curation. Like how long have you been doing vintage?
I was wearing the Harold Hunter Supreme t-shirt 2 weeks after it came out. I was wearing the away colorway of the Bulls pinstripe starter jersey, and I was wearing all kinds of crazy shit to mention nobody would thought was cool at the very fucking time. But then 2 years, 3 years later, these are all like the hype pieces.
And so just real quick, go ahead. You go ahead.
All I was gonna say is obviously I wasn't around these two at that point. I'm not that much younger than Baka, a tad bit younger. We weren't really in the same area type shit, so obviously I wasn't tapped in with them at the time. But off the stories I hear from them all the time, and just seeing how the culture's been moving in the last like 4 years, maybe 5, 4, I'd say like 4 years or so, maybe a little bit more. Like, it's crazy when a human being like sees, like, let's say someone went to their shit, right? And they obviously acknowledge that they're taking it in, but they're not going to give them their props because maybe that person of that higher status hasn't given them that public platform yet to really be like, oh yeah, that, because they're obviously doing it independently and shit. But when that person who actually is at that higher point starts to do it, and motherfuckers think that they literally started the entire trend of whatever the fuck it was, it's so crazy when it's like it all literally just comes back to point A. Like, shit's not as deep as motherfuckers think. Like, motherfuckers were really on this shit early on. If you really get your magnifying glass out and look at the receipts and shit and see motherfuckers in the community, like, you see who the fuck was on it first. And, you know, everyone thinks, Sean Witherspoon, vintage, it's like, you know, respect.
Yeah, real quick, I'm definitely the first youngest picker ever in Washington. You can ask any of like literally the original old heads in the game; they'll all tell you. I was at the time when I first started picking. I was the youngest person ever.
Who introduced you to it? Like,
because, bro, hey, time out. Before even introductions, before even this, mind you, I'm older than this nigga by like 3 years, right? I'm picking for my whole life. I'm hitting raps. The dude who introduced me to the Goodwill bins that I even knew it existed, because I knew it existed, but I'm like, oh, they don't got shit in there. Yeah. That's where they put all the bullshit. The person who introduced me to the bins, after I'm a grown ass man, like I have my own apartment at 18, and like we linked up on some hat shit. Like I had hella sports gear and hella hats, and that's like the bag back then. That's like Tiger snapback back and Chris Brown song going crazy on the radio. Like we're like in before the hype. Yeah. So like we have all these hats already, and we're like, oh, we're already up. Yeah. But like, hey, there's this hat that I want, there's this hat that I want, and there's this hat that I want. Hoody has it. I have all these hats. I'm gonna bring it over and we're gonna make a trade. So that's how I met Baca. Straight off hat shit. And then I'm like, bro, I got all these fucked up hats. Can you restore them? He's like, restore them? Like, I do that shit in my sleep. Yeah. So that's literally how I met Baca, like via Facebook, Thrift Central, forum, like.
I was the first person ever to start a vintage store in Washington.
This is like 2010, 2011, bro.
It was called Cool Beans.
Yeah,
I started in
2011. This is 2011. This is literally
like
10 years ago.
17 years old.
This is a decade
16
ago.
years old little kid.
Yeah.
Selling hats for $400 that I bought for 20 cents, by the way.
Like I'm literally with this dude, and I'm like, bro, where did you get this? He's like, at the Tac'd bins. I'm like, bro, you didn't get this shit in the bins. He's like, bro, yes I did. Like I'm not finna lie to you.
Never saved my sauce.
Meanwhile, I'm still on my jug shit. You feel me? What you knew me for? I'm still selling weed, selling anything else I can sell.
Doing this thing.
Whatever else I can get.
Yeah.
So like, but at that same time, I was a collector. So I'm curating starter jackets. Like I'm a sports head. So all I collect at that time,
you were
18.
Before me and Hoody met too. Like I said, I always kept up with anybody who was doing anything locally. Yeah. So I knew about.
So he knew who I was.
I knew about Hoody's fucking.
I didn't know who he was, but he already knew who I was.
What is it called? What is the website that hosts the websites?
Coop.us?
No. The website that you host that hosted.
Oh, before that, no, I had a what was it?
What's it called?
CVC.
Shit, yeah.
Classic vintage custom.
No. I know what CVC's called. I'm just saying, what was the mother website that hosted your website?
Back then?
Yeah. It was super, like everybody
Squarespace. It was
No, it was before Squarespace.
It was before Squarespace and Shopify. Fuck, I'm trying to think.
Monster or something?
Nah, it wasn't Monster.
It was like
a place you can go to and get a site real quick. I can't remember the name.
All the Indian.
But nonetheless, like I was one of the few vintage pages that actually had a website that you could go to. Like there was maybe like you look at 100 IGs and like 5 of us had websites.
There's a picture of Hoody on some stairs, like wearing a starter jacket with some hat in his hand. I don't know who took it.
At my old apartment on Broadway.
Yeah, I seen that picture when I was still in high school in like 2010 or 2011. And was like, oh, it's cool to know there's somebody else who's not like a main store doing this.
Yeah, because I'm out here, I'm like 18. Yeah. You feel me? Have my own place. Like, I'm mainly making my money off jugs, but I'm also making my money off vintage. Right. Because at this time, like, when I was like 18, going into 19, like 17, coming out of high school, like, I had enough money off like trap shit. Like, me and my mom were beefing, so like, I had to get my own place. Yeah. So I'm like, bet. I found 31 Broadway, where I fucking lived for like a year and a half. And then Chris Carson ended up moving in. And my homie Chris Ritchie lived in the front, who also does like a bunch of
shout out Chris Ritchie
art in Tacoma. Like if you've seen any crazy art installations, it's probably Chris Ritchie. Long story short though, we all lived in the same apartment and it was just a trap, bro. Like my plug that I ended up meeting, shout out Miguel, he lived upstairs from me. And there was like, at the time it was medical. So this was like 2011, 2012. This is when like, no rec existed. It was only medical stores. If you didn't have a card, you couldn't get into it.
Shout out to THC.
So back where like where the studio was, right? And like where Over the Moon Cafe was, right? Up in Opera Alley. To the right of Over the Moon Cafe, if you went like down this ramp and some more shit, there was this weed store called Canatonic Society. And my friend Miguel worked there and his roommate.
They got the glass shop back there too.
I'm like definitely blanking on the name, but he was also a solid ass motherfucker. Shout out to you too. I'm sorry, I forgot your name. But they both
spot too, by the way.
They both worked there. So you literally you go into the restaurant, Over the Moon Cafe will be to your left. And you walked in at that time Silica.
There we go.
The glass and fucking
that was
spray paint, like for the culture, bro. Silica did so much in the Tac'd. So if you wanted a fire rig, or if you were a graffiti head, you can go get the Krylon. You can go get a fucking $400 piece. You can go get some butane, whatever the fuck you needed. They had that shit at that shop.
Legendary. That we had a Silica shop.
So you walk through there. You walk through Silica, right? You go down the ramp. You go to the left. You go to the right. Then you take an elevator up a floor. And there's a Canatonic Society.
You can take that stairs too.
Which was, you can take the stairs too, but like, you know,
the elevator is definitely way more
it looks way fresher. Yeah. So you get up to Canatonic Society, there's literally a little lobby with like 3 or 4 chairs. Yeah. You get in there, and it just opens the fuck up. It just expands. And it is the most like pocket therapy, old school weed shit you could think of. So the person standing across the counter from you knows more than you about cannabis.
Weed
This is when I knew about weed. I thought I knew about weed.
Jars.
And motherfuckers are talking to me. This is 2011.
Smell it.
We're talking terpenes in 2011.
It wasn't in plastic.
2018, 2019,
You can look at
2020.
your bud.
That's when you start seeing this shit on packaging and recreational. We're talking terpenes in 2010, 2011. Shout out Miguel again.
We were still taking
But
hot dabs.
so he's put me on, whatever flour is good. He's put me on whatever oil is good. At that time, he owned a brand called Medicinal Oils. I ended up being his main vendor. Like, we were really pushing that shit. Like, obviously, I would push it to my homies, but I would push it to different stores.
Yeah.
That's how I got different connections in the cannabis industry.
Mad
I was
shadow.
able to always walk into a weed store, when it was medical. So if I had a bunch of pounds in my car, I could have brought them in anyway and tried to sell. But I'm like, hey, I got a brand I really fuck with, medicinal oils, yada, yada, yada. I'm a rep for them, which it was really unofficial at the time. But, like, that's something I put on my resume to this day. 'Cause that's how much work I put in back then.
Right.
Like, just footwork. But the fact that all that guy, like, rushed into, like, rec, like,
No.
we had a special thing going on in Tacoma for a long time.
We really
like,
did, honestly.
I'm glad to be a part of it, but, like, what we have now and the accessibility we have now, don't get it fucked up, it's great. Like, I'm glad more people have access to cannabis, but, like, there's so many stores getting
honestly, like, it was.
And if we can keep it real for a second, there's just less pack now.
Yeah.
Like, there's more weed, but there's less pack.
Yeah.
For sure.
You're just not gonna get as.
I'm gonna have to uppay or come early and make sure I don't sell out.
Or somebody.
Like, there's literally like 5 brands that I'm like, okay, if I'm buying their flour or their oil or their extracts that I fuck with, which there's hundreds of brands. And
you gotta know the farms. You gotta know niggas who work at the farms.
Hoody, sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good.
Is there any specific brands that maybe grow or make oil here in Tacoma that sell?
I mean, I've mainly been fucking with hash rosin and Connoisseurs Cannabis, I think that's their name. I only tried them once or twice, but I was very impressed by them. And then what we smoke the most is probably Constellations Cannabis, which I feel like they're out in like
shout out Constellations.
Either Bellevue or Bremerton, something with a B. But they are fucking killing it, and there's not a lot of competition. I mean, there's Washington Hash Co., which I'm like, it's hit or miss.
As far as Tacoma for like flour, like the only brand I know
downtown.
Personally,
downtown's like the top one, and they're from Seattle.
Never even heard of them.
They're not even from Tacoma.
I heard
you can probably get them at 5 stores in Tacoma.
Narrows.
And that's mid. That's like if I'm trying to get a $25 eighth, I'm gonna grab Narrows.
Solid shit.
But like if I'm trying to buy some fire,
I don't know who they are or anything like that, so it's not.
They're from like Gig Harbor or some shit.
You know, are they really?
I mean, I think so.
Because I thought I said bros.
But I don't know.
Right.
You can port it.
LLC. I don't know what a business license is.
Anywhere though.
Right. This is Tac'd podcast. Hey, shout out any.
I mean, Narrows. I feel like if I'm going for a budget brand and I'm looking for flour, they're solid from what I know. They're fire.
Yeah, I just want to take a second to
I mean,
shout
like
out
the
Tacoma.
upper tier. Like I'm looking like if I am shopping for flour, I want the best of the best.
Right.
I don't know what it is. You feel me? But
I'm
like,
not even from here, but I'm from here. You feel me?
That's a big cosign.
He's legendary. He's
find me.
in.
I'm on Tyler Street most of the time. I'm on fucking mom's house. If you don't think Collin's from Tacoma, find me.
And
Play
like,
yourself.
I'm fucking. I'm gonna talk my shit. I don't care.
Talk your shit.
Go ahead, King.
We brought you here for.
Talk your shit.
Pop that shit.
So like.
He said, really, I'm from the T, I'm from 36 and EC.
Like, just to give you like a, because a lot of hella people all the time, it's not like a couple people, like all the time, motherfuckers actually think I grew up out here. People think I'm from Tacoma. Which I am.
Colin just has so much love for the Tac'd.
You have hella Tacoma
If you didn't believe
love.
in the Tac'd, just been talking about it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate
That's fact.
Sabercats, Tacoma Rockets, Rainiers.
Like, how he own more tack pieces than me
Tacoma
as far as vintage
Stars.
shit?
He has all my old
tack
tack
pieces than me.
Frisco Freeze tees, employee tees from the
Yeah, all our old pieces he has.
Most rare Tacoma shirt I've ever found is a Tacoma Fisco Freeze employee T-shirt.
With the
I'm the only person I know
On top of that,
ever had
no.
one.
On top of that, it probably had 17 fucking hundred holes in it. Like I'm not even
And it was
exaggerating.
yellow.
And he got it repaired. He'll wear it. Like who the fuck does that? You're not even from the
So
tag.
listen,
Come on, bro.
I won't tell you what he paid for it too, but he paid
He paid up.
quite a bit of money for
He
it.
paid up.
yeah. So besides knowing them, because I was coming to the tap before I kicked the Hoody and shit. Obviously.
And me.
Yeah, and Baca.
Yeah.
So when I was really coming here, bro, like I don't know if either of you have been to Snohomish or Everett before. It's quite a bit of a drive.
Yeah.
You know, it was already an hour and 45 minutes to get here from Seattle. So add an extra.
Hey, that's just because all you motherfuckers keep moving here. Fuck y'all.
Right.
So like early days, like I'm out here.
We talked about Umi earlier.
The earliest.
Umi knows Collin been in the Tac'd.
Yeah. Earliest. Like let's say early 2016, right?
You were here before that.
I'm going.
I would say 2014, 2015. I'm just trying to give you your flowers, man.
All right.
You were here before that. But you already tapped in with motherfuckers that I knew, and you already knew them, and you were already here. Like Aramis, you fucking already knew Adrian, you already knew Umi. Like you actually knew them on a first name basis before you really like knew me.
Yeah.
So I gotta give you your flowers. It was like 2013, 2014.
I'm just trying to be humble about it.
Go ahead.
But let's just say bare maximum, I can say 2016.
Yeah.
That's when
really
I started
13,
coming down
14
here.
though. He was tapped in.
So,
but go ahead.
Just like trying to even tell my
Shout out Plushy Love.
Oh yeah, real quick before I get into this. This is this shorty from Olympia. Her name is I can't remember her name off the top of her head, but her IG name is @rottingsack. And she has a brand called Plushy Love. She works with brands like Stray Rats and does graphic work and
Shout out to Stray Rats.
yeah, and she's also works like Fishnark and does like graphic and video stuff. And she makes these plushies with her friend. And I just got one of these from her.
Oh, she made that?
I had to bring it through just to showcase some local.
Bro, I got a thing for plushies. That's tight.
Yeah, and you know.
I'm a big plushie collector. I also have a Plushy Love plush. Hasn't came in yet.
The
Kermit's
hard.
This is actually a runway invitation piece.
Yeah,
you know,
the Vetemon's Kermit, the runway invitation.
It's actually like beyond rare. I don't even know how to just like.
It's actually Vetemans?
Vetemons.
Vetemons
Kermit the Frog.
On his butt cheeks, you can see it on his back.
Only
hey, let me show this to the camera.
Wow. Yeah. Get that to the camera.
Y'all see Kermit, right? He's already fresh.
Yeah.
He got his eyes on shit.
Damn. That's crazy.
But
very rare.
Yeah, so fucking basically like trying to like convince your homies.
Shout out Cherry.
Yeah. Trying to convince your homies from up north that there's even like something going on out here that's like worth going to is like definitely a hassle at first. Like they're just like
it's like going to Portland.
They have this stigma like why would anybody ever go to the Tac'd? Like, what's out here?
I don't want to get shot.
Blah, blah, blah. Probably some shit like that, you know. So fucking.
And we be outside the Tac'd a lot, and we tell people we're from Tacoma all the fucking time. People are always like, "Wait, you're from Tacoma?
Are you good?
What's it like out there?"
I was like the worst
stigma. What the fuck does that mean?
There's views actually.
And then
regular.
So yeah, we're literally making drives like 2 hours, 30 minutes each way back and forth. Like, and I'm talking like I'm out here till 2-3 in the morning just to like really be.
Tap in.
Yeah. I don't want to say
tacked in.
I don't want to say
tacked in.
I don't want to say student, but I'm gonna just say like really Soaking be there and to really talk to like OGs and shit. Some of these things like talking to Umi early on, and I grew up a streetwear kid, so I was definitely like freshman year getting into clothes and shit and really getting in my bag doing that thing. So yeah, like when I found out. There was a fucking... I mean, I was already going to, like, Goods and Alive and Well and 35th and already skating and shit. So I already knew about all that. But when I found out there was some shit out here, and I'm like, oh, they're getting, like, Anwar Carrots out here.
Right.
They're getting fucking Brooks out here to do, like, a shoe pop-up. I'm like, I should go see what's good. Was that not crazy? And then, like, I'm finding out there's, like, music out here, because I'm not going to lie, a lot of the music in Seattle at the time was pretty buns.
Hey, that was right when Nacho was leaving. Right when Nacho took a break, shout out Nacho, and that's right when Kenai stopped making music, because those are like my two favorite Seattle artists. If you're trying to talk like just artistry and like how deep they are, like Nacho and Key, I don't think there's anybody else in Seattle, and I fucking love Travis Thompson and Dave B. They're both fire, but I don't think there's anybody else that goes deeper into rap than Nacho and Key, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody else that's even close to my age that has
but-
that tapped in.
Look,
Shout out
ill
Jargy
shit.
and Miss Casey
And
Moore.
Chris,
Congratulations.
Ill Chris.
But he's from the Tac'd.
Chill Chris. I don't
He's
care.
from the Tac'd.
I don't care where you think Ill Chris is
Las
from.
Vegas finest.
He's from everywhere.
He's from Vegas. He's from Renton. He's from Seattle. He's from the Tac'd.
Shout out
He's
Big
from
Bro.
your mom's house.
So hard.
Shout out to Chris. I love
Shout out Big Bro.
So when I'm
Hey, shout out just Jug House J and AB too, cause they got a track. Yo, I only heard a snippet, and Jug House J posted on his story. And dear Jesus, I don't think I've been waiting for a song for longer than the AB and the Jug House song. Like, drop that. If y'all see this, drop that shit right fucking now.
So like being out here, and then like I'm coming up here and I'm finding out about, you know, dudes like Aramis, Bougie Man, at, you know, Ghoul Valley. Like at the time, you feel me? Like it was just like, damn, there's like a whole nother like community of people out here that are like kind of into like the same shit as
It's
me.
not to cut him off, but he could never explain it. But if you knew all the people who went in the Collin's Inessential like group, it's like literally like all the young people who are doing anything right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
All the fashion
on top
cats,
of that,
music cats,
skate cats. Hey,
photography cats,
shout out
skate cats,
Ian and
you name it.
Trapographer. I finally got to meet Ian.
Yeah.
in person. That shit was
Our
fun.
whole team's
But bro,
crazy.
yeah, Colin's always known everybody who means something in Seattle. Which like we don't fuck with Seattle like that. Like we fuck with y'all. Like okay, we're gonna come out there and
Yeah,
get
bro.
money.
And honest-
shout out Lucky Dog. Shout out Red Light.
We're
But
brothers.
other than that,
And
like hey, we're cool. We're gonna come
on
and tap
top-
in with Colin. And this motherfucker knows
On
everybody.
top of that, too,
Everybody who matters.
the people that aren't even from the Tac'd or from Snohomish, I was going to like Kent, going to fucking Renton, Federal Way. Like I was really going to like where all these people were at, and I was really zoning in with all of them early on. You feel me? Like just trying to. I felt like in my school, I don't want to be the kid that was like, yeah, like no one really understood me in school because that just sounds corny and shit.
Right.
But you could imagine a kid trying to pull up with a bunch of pink on or being into a certain type of music and shit in school, and everyone at my school was like dressed like a farmer and shit, and they're all wearing like Romeos and rock rockers. I'm not mad at that either if that's what you do, if that's totally awesome.
Like,
I'm just saying, like,
Carnival,
when I actually
what
found
was it?
a group of kids that was my
But would
age,
you go to
that was in the same
Carnival or was
shit,
it like a fair?
and it all
we can't
stemmed.
do two different conversations.
Okay.
No, my bad.
Yeah, sorry. That would just.
No, you're
listeners.
good. Yeah, I was just saying, like, when I actually found that group of people, like, that I felt like I identified with, it was really crazy. And it kind of took me from a friend group that I had up north that was just really, like, I don't want to even get too into it, but just people that are just on some dumb shit. Like, just, you know, growing up and figuring out, like, fucking up in life. And,
Right.
you know, you're just not really around the best shit. And then you're actually being introduced to a group of people that actually is telling you, like, nah, you should do that. Like, nah, you should really do that, and blah, blah, blah. Like, it's literally how I even started releasing clothes to the public, because at first I was just making shit for myself, like hand-drawing shirts and shit with Who'd Have Thought, and I was, you know, nobody was really telling me up north that I should really pursue that. And then when I started going to places where people actually understood it and shit, I was getting like 40 plus DMs and shit, which is crazy for me at the time. I mean, I'm like a nobody at the time, so motherfuckers were like, hey, you guys.
I got a question. So how did you start with Who'd Have Thought? What was your thought, like, as far as making the brand, and what made you figure out your first design?
I've never talked about this before. This is awesome.
I'm trying to give him.
I've been on before I get started. I've been on one other interview. My homie Josh used to have a radio thing called Lurk Radio.
Okay.
And I was on that. We didn't talk about any of this shit. It was about random shit. So like the fact that I'm even talking about this right now is awesome.
Alright, so back to it. So
Yeah.
how did
I start?
Who Would Have Thought get created, and what was your first ideas
Bro,
for design?
it's the dumbest story. So I was it's May 2015.
Okay.
Random day. I'm in Snohomish. I'm on my skateboard and shit. And I go to Walgreens just randomly. Like, I'm just there. I'm up the street. I was at the homie's house, whatever. And I wanted just a sweater, like just a blank sweater I could just wear, right? So I bought like a white crew neck, whatever they had at Walgreens, whatever store brand shit.
Right.
they
Yeah,
had.
some bullshit.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So I buy that, and then I have it, and I'm just like, man, this shit's boring as fuck. Like, I want to like do something to it, you know, but I just didn't know what. So I literally like was not that good at drawing at all. Like, I'm not very artistic very I took like art classes and shit in high school, and I did like my little thing with like collages and shit, but I wasn't super good at freehanding shit. But I just decided to try to freehand something for the first time, like really take it seriously, you know. So I started drawing this sweater, and I don't even know if you know what I'm talking about, with like the 3 characters all holding hands. Have you ever seen that before? Like the Mickey Mouse,
Mickey Mouse, Felix the Cat, and Snoopy.
Oh, okay,
the white t-shirt, and they're all holding
Yep.
In unison.
So that's my shit.
No way.
My question is, Collin, did you ever draw on your shoes before that, like the Vans?
No. Well, I would do that like. I did that like one time, and that was like early on.
But you never know who would have thought you like.
No, never.
So the first who would have thought you ever was on a sweater.
I have it at my house.
Sick.
So it's a crew neck, and then I started drawing. I wanted a shirt with Mickey on it, right? So I started drawing my interpretation of what I thought he looked like, and then I was like, "Fuck that, it's too boring." So like when he had his hands out like this, like he's making that type of motion, I was like, that'd be hard if like I had like, because all 3 of those characters, like Felix the Cat, they all have that same motion where their hands are all out like that. So I was like, that'd be hard if I put, after that I did Felix. So I drew Felix on the left side.
Were you pulling these from images? Like the...
I mean, I just was like kind of like...
Expo.
Yeah.
Just I had like a still from it, like I thought it was
That's
cool.
sick.
But I mean, I was freehanding all that shit.
Just in
It
your
was
brain.
hard. My hands were like shaking and shit doing that. Like I was just like, fuck, I hope I don't fuck this
Don't
up.
fuck this
Because
up.
I was dummy broke. I didn't have money to go buy another one. So I was just like, fuck, okay. And then I got the Felix done. I was like, all right. I kind of fucked up a tiny bit on one of it, but I was like, all right.
Then when did you add in the Snoopy?
And then right after I added the Snoopy, so then it was all 3 of them like that. You feel me? And then
What made you add in the Snoopy?
I don't know. I can't
felt
really even
inspired.
articulate.
You just we're still going with the same idea.
Yeah.
There's all main still
They're just
original
main
cartoon
good characters.
characters.
Right.
And
I didn't
then-
know if there was like something deeper.
No,
to it.
and then
I
listen.
don't
So like at first, I didn't have any specific reason I articulated that or like try to do that.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, I feel like a fucking pile of corn saying this right now. I'm just gonna say it though,
But it
because
can't
it's my truth. I gotta tell
Can't
it how it
lie.
is. Like it literally was like as simple as I thought about like what word should I put underneath it, and I was just like, all 3 of these characters and shit, they all look different. They all do different things. They all have different attributes about each other.
Who would've thought?
And
They
it was
all
like,
be
who would have
together.
thought they'd all be together and shit, like all homied up and shit, and like kind of like a love your neighbor, don't judge a book by its cover type of thing.
WWT.
And
bitch.
I feel so cringy saying it, but like that's really what it was. And then I drew.
And if you guys don't know shit about streetwear, sometimes shit's just not that deep. It's all about what the artist thinks.
Yeah.
literally.
What
Sorry.
you said.
So-
What you said.
So then I drew that, the
Yeah,
words
well, bro,
underneath,
YouTube
and I had this
always
font that I did where I was trying to, I was just trying to like put a line under each of the corners of the letters and shit. I don't even know what the fuck I was thinking, but I drew that, and I had it just for the Percy. I was wearing it at school and shit. Like the last month or 2 I had at school, and like hella people were like, yo, that shit's cool as fuck. Where'd you get that? Oh, you drew that? Blah,
Bitch,
blah,
I made
blah.
that.
You know? And then I was like, whatever. Like, you know, people don't really think it's that crazy. And then I'd get slightly pressed about it every now and then, but nothing crazy. And then, like I said, when I started really going out and, like, I had people like Tac'd and shit, like, you know, Tac'd and, like, fucking
Look,
Zemed.
no
all the
shade
homies.
towards Toe Jam. We don't really fuck with Toe Jam like that, but we're gonna keep it a buck. There was only one brand at Toe Jam really making waves, and it was Who Would Have Thought. You can ask any original Toe Jam goer. The craziest shirt ever, the craziest product ever at Toe Jam was this nigga's hand-drawn shirts. If anyone
I
who
could be
ripped
there to witness that.
went to any original
Sorry,
Toe
you
Jam,
Collin,
they'll tell
but
you.
that's when I really fucked
People
with
to
Collin.
this day ask Collin, oh, you're the dude who did the Toe Jam shit? Even the shit they stole from him. We're not going to get into that, but even the shit they stole from
We
him.
can if we want.
They asked
Yeah,
Collin.
yeah.
I'll air it out.
Hey, Collin.
Hey, listen.
Read this. Just take my phone and read this. I'll take it and read it.
He's got a statement for you.
That's the cool life, by the way.
Yeah.
That's wild, right?
I see it. So listen.
All right, Baga.
So listen.
You reading that?
And
One second. I'm going to read this out for the people. That's what Hoody wants.
Tac'd exclusive.
Hello, my name is Tay. I am contacting you in regards to setting up as a vendor at our next warehouse event on Friday, the 27th, 1 to 7, Seattle, Washington. If you're available that day, let me know. I can send for the details. Look forward to working with you.
That's not the same nigga that fucked over my nigga though.
Yeah. So listen. Let me say something.
He had the audacity. No, time out. Collin's gonna tell you the story. He had the audacity just because I'm popping shit and I'm doing shit with my nigga Bakari and Hayes and shit, and like my shit's getting a little traction up in Seattle. He felt the need to like contact me directly to do a toe jam, which my favorite artist is performing at, but I'm still not going to do.
He's got a key coming.
He did some wrong business with two people that I fuck with, including Collin. So we gonna talk about this on camera. Collin, take the floor.
Listen, so this is a story that I've never talked about on social media, and anybody that follows me, anybody that really fucks with me and shit, I've gotten countless DMs about. I've had people literally 30 plus people and shit trying to hit me about this whole thing. I'm gonna talk about it.
By the way, it was worth it.
So, and by the way, disclaimer, by toe jam, we don't mean Aramis.
Aramis is a fucking king.
There's two different toe jams.
Shout out Aramis and shout out Boogie
There's
Man.
Aramis toe jam.
I'm just here for the ride.
And it's Aramis and Taylor. I'm not gonna take shit away from Taylor. But then there's just Taylor toe jam.
Aramis.
Those are completely two different things. I'm sorry.
Right. So when he left, it turned into kind of a different thing. And keep in mind, the dude who runs Toe Jam now, the guy Taylor, first guy to ever buy a shirt off me.
Like he said now.
First guy to ever buy a shirt off me, right? Him and Aramis. So their shit's kind of picking up traction, because you remember the old Toe Jam days and how much traction was happening, right? So their shit was kind of picking up, right? Getting some momentum, and this is like 2018. So I'm still doing the Who Would've Thought shit. I don't even have VCR. I don't have SLUCOLOR with Baka. I'm just Who Would've Thought right now, and that's really what everybody knows me for. And if anybody knows me, you know, kind of like how like some artists and shit, they get known for that one thing. That was like the thing I was known for, was the hand-drawn tees. That at first, you know, that until I kind of proved otherwise. But that was under my resume. So
He was known for design, not for hand-drawn t-shirts. He was known for the Mickey, Felix, and Snoopy.
Yeah.
But they were hand-drawn.
Tell him.
So he has to mention they're hand-drawn, but he was known for his design.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you, Baka.
Because at the time, in those graphics, there was nobody putting the three characters together in that specific motion. I'm not saying I invented the characters, but that specific layout of that shirt just had not been done yet. So, people were kind of like taken back by it, like, damn, this is crazy. Like, we haven't even seen this in like streetwear brands, and then brands start ripping at like Chinatown Market and other brands. I'm not even gonna. And I'm not mad at that. That's the universe. That's ideas.
And that is a major portion of streetwear is ripped.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not mad at that. Someone maybe showed them. Maybe they just had the same idea. I just did it first. I got receipts. Whatever. It's not even about that. But
Big Draco in the building.
This the Toe Jam thing was because they start getting some money, like Red Bull started fucking with them, right? So they got a big budget to be able to book. Sorry if I'm getting too into this too.
No, please.
I figured, fuck, this is the first one. We might as well get into it,
bro.
This is what people ask me about all the time.
We're here to talk about the Tac'd.
Yeah.
Good and bad. It ain't all pretty in here.
Yeah. So,
because I got a Toe Jam story too, but
yeah, we'll get into that. You know, so they got this budget from Red Bull, right?
Yeah.
So they started getting all this funding from them and shit to be able to really do shit that like they wanted to and stuff. So Taylor, he hits me up and he's like, "Hey, bro, what do you think about some of these?" Like, he's sending me some graphic ideas that he has for the new Toe Jam, and he has a couple that are like decent or whatever. I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." I'm looking through them. And there's one that he has, which I don't know if you recall, the Toe Jam with Lil Mosey and Young Nudie. This is like one of their biggest ones they had.
I do recall that.
Do you remember the shirt that they did that has the cat, the dog, and the mouse all on it?
No.
And they're all holding hands?
That sounds a little familiar.
I'll pull it up in a minute so you can see it as a reference.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so basically, he hits me up and he's like, "Hey, what do you think about some of these?" And I'm like, "Some of them are kind of cool.
That one looks a little familiar.
I don't know how I feel about this one, but like, you know, I'm just trying to be nice and shit. I don't think there's any ill intentions or whatever. It's my homie at the time, or I thought it was. So I was like, you know, it's all good, bro. Like, you know, whatever. I didn't necessarily give him the green light on it. But then he hits me up again and he's like, "Hey, bro, like, what do you think about this now? Like, I just don't know how I feel about it. I feel like people are gonna think it's too similar, blah, blah, blah." And you keep in mind, he commissioned artists to basically rip my graphic, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So he basically commissioned somebody to copy my graphic that I know that they know me.
Yeah.
So it's not like there's no parties in here that are just uninformed on what's going on. It's like you two are consciously know about me. I'm the first pop-up ever at your shit, and you're the first person that ever bought a shirt off me. So obviously, let's hypothetically say you're one of my biggest fans.
Right.
You feel me? So,
I know you're not. So what do you think would possess him to send those to you and get your opinion on it?
Maybe he was trying to get the blessing or something. I don't know.
Maybe
like, I don't know what his intentions were, but I just like said, hey, bro, respectfully, you know.
That's mine.
I just don't think that's it. But like, you know, I like those other ones that you sent me. I appreciate you running those by me though. And then he, after that, proceeded to. I get a video sent to me from like 10 people. And it's him in a factory, and he's printing off all these shirts. I'm pulling up a picture of it right now so I can show you guys, so I don't have to just keep talking about it.
If you want to send it to our Instagram, I can pull it up.
Yeah.
I got you. Yeah, I'm trying to find it. So basically, he starts making these shirts after I literally sent him a huge message, and I was just like, yo, G, you know, please don't do that. Like, that's not cool. Or whatever. He just reads it, doesn't say shit. He starts making them, and he gets a whole lookbook shot with a bunch of people, and like people are just flooding into my DMs like, what's good, bro? Like, you gonna say something about it? Like, people were in their Toe Jam comments like, y'all just copying Who Would Have Thought?
Right.
Y'all just blah blah blah. Like, and I don't even know anything about this shit. So
it's blatant too is the other thing.
Yeah. So it was just crazy.
It's one thing to like maybe. It's still under the same category, but like to take someone's design, to send it to the designer to get clearance for it, not get clearance for it, go ahead and make it, and not only make it, but shoot a lookbook around it and try and claim. Yeah, that doesn't seem like a coincidence
obviously
to me.
the font is different, but like you're just gonna tell me
all they do is just switch the dog and the mouse.
A cat, a dog, and a mouse, and they're all hold on.
Yeah, bro, that doesn't seem like a coincidence to me.
You follow
Tac'd in with Spencer P.
I'm saying right now.
If you ain't following it.
Yeah, here's a good time for some promo. If you're not following Tac'd in with Spencer P, we are on Twitter, Instagram.
And go follow Tac'd in with Spencer P.
You guys are showing love. We love it. Dude, my personal page never gets no love.
Right now,
yeah, we up.
You know, if you friends, family, so go ahead and follow us.
I got you.
We love you guys. Thank you. But yes, that does seem. So he went on from there and sold it at the Toe Jam.
No. So listen. So many people were pressing him about it, and like telling him like, "Yo, bro, don't run these, blah blah blah, all this shit." He's literally asking people that are in my friend group that see them at firsthand, like, "What do you think about them?" I just sent that to you, by the way. Like, yo, like, what do you think about them, blah blah blah. And then my homies are just like, I don't know, G, that looks kind of like Collin shit. And he's even acknowledging like, yeah, I know, like people were saying that, and like blah blah. So like he consciously knows what he's doing, right?
Right.
And I'm being dead quiet because I don't want to be the petty guy that here, look.
Yeah, bro. Look, black cat, white black dog, mouse. I mean.
Yeah, he just swapped it around a little bit, so he couldn't say he exactly copied it.
Yeah.
Right. And this is old shit. Yeah, and obviously, you know,
you
like.
can tell it's a derivative.
So we had a similar conversation about another apparel clothing brand here in Tacoma, which was.
The one that stole from ETC and shit?
Well, not only did they steal from ETC,
the
but
one
they
the Sonic
stole
shit?
Stussy, Undefeated.
Yeah.
They stole from Flight
They're
Club.
sus. I've heard
They
about
stole
them.
from the Raiders. They stole from the Rainier. Yeah. They did quite a bit of stuff. But again, like I said, in streetwear, that is a part of it. Like, don't get me twisted. Like, ETC has plenty of ribs.
Oh yeah,
but
no one's mad at the rib.
No,
but it's almost so crazy that like you're that
Yes.
local and you have a platform that you're trying to give to local creatives,
There's
you're stealing from the local creatives.
Right.
It's like, gee, your whole
Done.
shit is just done.
It's cyclical. Like, you're eating yourself. Like,
Literally, you're biting the hand that's
Yeah.
fucking feeding you and shit and bringing people to your fucking event.
Yeah.
So he makes these shirts. He has so many people hitting him up about it. and like pressing him and shit. And he's honestly getting in his head about it that when the actual event happened, he had to give him away for free. So he couldn't say that he sold him and made money off of my shit because I pressed the fuck out of him about it.
So what's even the... I guess he already has them printed up, but like...
Hey, it's over with. I just had to acknowledge, like, this is something that's been talked about among our friend group and, like, that community of people, that people always come up to me. To this day, I have my roommate be going on dates with random Tinder shorties and fucking... He'll get asked, like, oh, yeah, my roommate's blah, 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 do you know him? And they'll be like, oh, yeah, like, he did the toe jam shit. People think I did that. That's the thing. That's the reason why I'm talking about it. It's a misconception that people think that I actually created that graphic.
Yeah.
And it's just, I had to clear that up, you know?
Well, I mean...
And if he's doing his thing now, whatever. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. This is, like, easily 2-3 years ago, so I'm not really tripping about it.
Yeah, on to bigger and better things.
I just had to give you a backstory because I know you've probably seen it around, and that's definitely something that happened that never got talked about, and I was trying to be the bigger person and not try to be like, make the post like, nah, Toe Jam's canceled. Like, I didn't even want to talk about it for the longest time, but everyone's just been telling me like, yo, bro, I'm sorry, but like, you gotta talk your shit on that. That's where we're at.
Yeah.
Cue me in when I can. Yeah. All right, I just want to let everybody know we disappeared for a second because we had to talk about the most important SLU. There's SLUs, there's Slubaka, there's SLU C, there's SLU D, there's SLU E, there's all kinds of SLUs. But then there's SLU P. There's the most important SLU. There's the one SLU who always looks out for every SLU and anyone involved with the SLU community, and that is the golden child. That's the golden boy. That's the guy who always makes sure everybody's okay. So we don't want to come off as like our problems are worse than your problems, or we had to walk away for a second so the entertainment was important or anything. But I just want to let you know, as much as you love your mom, I love SLU P, and we wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for SLU P. Not saying we would never met anybody or we never did anything like that, but it's just like, to keep it real, if you as deep as it gets, it's SLU P. That's as deep as it gets, if that makes sense to everybody. So I love everybody who's watching us. I love anybody who supports us. Fuck with everybody who fucks with Tac'd. Tac'd love to the end of the love, but I just want everybody to know that, like, I really feel like Tacoma wouldn't be the same without Alberto Winterra, Juan Winterra, aka SLU P, aka the only person I can really imagine like really making SLU shit happen. Thank you, SLU P.
Yep. And I just want to add to, like, you know, obviously we had a really tragic accident the other day with P, and it's just like, it was a lot while we were doing the podcast. Like, it's kind of like it was all on all of our minds and shit, even though we're trying to act casual. So, like, we appreciate you guys for being, like, really understanding and stuff about that. But, you know, it's definitely a lot on our conscience and shit right now. And I just want everybody to know out there, like, for people who don't know SLU P or don't know Alberto or his family or anything like that, that he is, like, literally the reason and the driving force why we do stuff like SLUCOLOR or VCR. Like, literally the night that, like, I even came up with VCR was with P and Baca. Like, we were eating tacos and shit, and they were really pushing me to do my thing. And, like, he just is that person that's that driving force that literally, like, more support than a dog with unconditional love and shit. Like,
and for me, it really fucks me up.
Yeah.
Because people, they'll hear my ideas. I'm never going to say I'm the driving force behind anyone's ideas, anyone's pop-ups or anything like that. But people will hear me, they'll acknowledge me. But then when they hear P back me up, that's when they're like, you might be on to something.
Level. It's a different level with it.
And then they'll actually act on it.
Yeah.
And then for me, I'm never really discouraged by that. I get it. Like, at the end of the day, like, SLU P's like the confirmation I need too to do shit. But for me, it's like, I know I'm really doing shit, but, like, at the same time, I feel like if I don't get that confirmation either, I don't feel the same.
Yeah. So, like, you know, prayers up for SLU P and stuff. We're really thinking about you, King. And, you know, if you watch this and shit, we love you, and you're going to be okay, King, you know?
Come on. Everybody here at the Tac'd podcast, yeah, but we're wishing you a speedy recovery. You know, I haven't had the pleasure to meet P yet, but I look forward to meeting him soon. we just spent about 45 minutes talking and reminiscing and saying nothing but good things about him. So
we had to take a little break for P.
Yeah, definitely.
Emotionally, physically, mentally, like I had to take a break and just acknowledge my guy. 'Cause he's that special and he's that good. And I personally, I don't know, I got a text from Pete Friday when the bullshit happened, when he got in the car accident, and I felt like I should have been there. So the fact that I wasn't able to be, it's like, bro, I'm just fighting for you so much harder.
Yeah,
I'm just ready for my guy to be back.
I just want everybody to know too, like, you know, like literally it's just you know, nothing's slowing down. Like, if anything, it's just we're amping everything up times 1,000,000.
Yeah,
you know, you go hard for P and shit.
We ain't gonna segue. We ain't gonna talk to P. We ain't gonna say Slu P ain't doing shit. But you see the fucking SLUCOLOR. There'd be no fucking SLUCOLOR without Slu P. You fucking see it. You know what the fuck going on? I would not do shit without Alberto. I want all you fucking fuckers to know that. Y'all niggas wouldn't do shit without Alberto because y'all wouldn't do shit without me. Keep that in the fucking mind. Slu P is my fucking hero, and I'm your hero. So love P because you love me, you fuckers.
Stupid.
Respectfully.
Write that down if you ain't get on that, you feel me? Write it down.
On the fucking Tac'd podcast, the first niggas ever to have the Slu's on the fucking podcast. And that's fucking important. Because I know a lot of y'all niggas look up to us, but you will never fucking say it. Suck my dick.
Oh, man.
If I can say anything that might need to have been said.
I want to take the mic for just 1 second, and I want to say thank you to you guys for showing up today. Obviously, we had no idea. I had no idea what has, you know, transpired in the last couple of days and whatnot. So for you guys to come in here, still put on a show, put on the game face, talk your shit, and it just does nothing but put a good name up. It gives a good look for everybody.
We couldn't do this shit without P, and we couldn't do this shit if it wasn't.
You don't even understand how happy he'd be right now if he knew we were on a podcast saying the word SLU, SLU.
Yeah.
He'd be beyond ecstatic to know you guys
That smile would be
wanted
cheek to
us
cheek.
on here to talk about
That's what's keeping me so charged right now is just knowing how he'd feel about this.
And that's the message coming out of here. I don't think he would want any of us to slow down on his account.
all.
I think he'd want us to double down, put the pedal to the
Always.
metal, show up, put the SLUs on, SLUCOLOR, biggest in the city.
You know?
Yeah, man.
I don't want to take away from anybody, but this podcast is for Slu P. I don't want to take away from anybody but everything I do for the rest of this year and for the foreseeable future until I know Slu P can talk to me and tell me everything I can slow down and shit is for Slu P.
Mm-hmm. Write that shit down if you need to.
When a fucking P on your chest, you want to feel braver, you fucker.
Jeez, that was beautiful.
Just love.
Okay, guys, I think we'll wrap this up. We'll give you guys we'll give you the floor for some closing thoughts.
You want to just go on person to person?
Yeah. If you guys want to share some thoughts, anything you got coming up, you have the floor to say whatever you feel
I need to say
necessary.
this first and foremost. I think y'all already peeped the episode. If you didn't, go back and peep the ETC episode. I don't know what episode.
Episode 00907.
009, you feel me? 907. But my man really showed a lot of keys with you. And if you're from Tacoma, you need to watch that, period. He's showing you shit that happened, shit that's about to happen. Also,
episode number 1 is Big
not even the
Hoodie
one.
Coon.
Don't even watch the one. Don't even worry about that. If you're in Tacoma, go to Tacoma Art Museum. Go check out my guy Umi. A
McKinsey
beautiful
collection.
installation of black art, black photography, black beautifulness. Go check that shit out, please.
Shout out
it's
to
here till October, I think, so you got plenty of time.
And
But go ASAP. No Rocky.
And shout out to Groovy Tapes. I ran into Corey at fucking Tall. That was cool as shit, bro. We're making connections. So.
And shout out B Hayes. We did a crazy pop-up.
Shout out
shout
B
out
Hayes.
Tobias. We did a crazy pop-up at Aisle 4. It was beautiful. It went crazy.
Shout out the guys at Aisle 4
pulled
too.
Up, you feel me? But yeah, shout out all the boys at Aisle 4, including Tobias, including Malcolm, including Lamar. We appreciate y'all. For real. Long way.
What you want to say, Baka?
Wow, it's me, SLU, BAKA, Slubaka. I'm so happy to be on the Tac'd podcast. And I want to let you guys know, first of all, fuck you. You don't know I'm the GOAT. Fuck you. I'm that nigga. Fuck you. It's for Slu P. Fuck you. I just want everybody to know, SLUCOLOR, VCR, Scoop Studios, all that shit. Take the hat off real quick. It's me. Beard Bros. Name any cool fucking name in any fucking group. I'm behind it. Fuck you. So first of all, don't fucking ever sleep on me. Don't ever sleep on Sue P. Don't ever sleep on the fucking SLUs. I mean, you know, he already talked about black excellence. I am black excellence, nigga. Fuck you. I'm black, Puerto Rican, white, and Vietnamese. Fuck you. I'm also native. I'm everything, you bitch nigga. So like, I can talk from every fucking spectrum. Fuck you. I just want everybody to know, like, I'm not pissed off at anything, but I want to be honest with you guys. You guys look at me, you guys talk to me, you guys say, oh, Baka, you're doing your thing. There's not a lot of people who's ever facilitated my ideas. This man is welcoming me into his house. Let me work on SLUCOLOR. This is brand too, but let me really be there and working on that shit.
3 weeks deep.
No objections.
Stupid!
So, you know, y'all niggas believed in me. This nigga's not even from the fucking Tac'd. This nigga put me up in his fucking crib and said, go off.
Stupid.
So really it's fuck you.
Dummy.
You didn't fuck with me like that. And at the same time, you know, we got the SLUCOLOR pop-up coming up soon. You feel me? So that's
probably
gonna
at
be
aisle
crazy.
4. Also shout out Sue P. Suck my dick from the back.
It's no shade towards nobody. But you know, if you ever try to charge me too much for a fucking pop-up, that's not gonna fucking happen. Fuck you. You know, cause niggas give me free pop-ups. Shout out Umi. Shout out Hoody. Shout out Reese. Shout out every nigga who ever let me come in their space and do something because they believed in my skill. You're the fucking GOAT, you feel me? And once again, bring it back into the Tac'd podcast. Niggas know about us, but they never brought us up. Shout out Groovy Tapes. You wanna know what our next podcast is? I'm gonna let you fucking know right now. It's fucking Groovy Tapes. Shout out fucking Corey. That's my fucking nigga. No one's ever talked to me like they were a fucking fan, but also let me know at the fucking same time it's not that I'm a fucking fan. I really appreciate the fucking culture. Y'all niggas don't fuck with the culture like that.
Number 2
that nigga does.
Groovy Tapes.
Fuck
Dude.
Stupid!
Congratulations,
So
bro. Those guys.
Listen.
Hey, let's go off.
That's
Let's go off.
Listen. So, yeah, and shout out Corey and Tavares. I love you guys. You guys are honestly like, it's like what Baka was saying.
High tier supporters.
Like what Baka was saying.
Inspiration.
Like Baka was saying, like it was we're like the most like talked about but untalked about. Like no one wants to talk about it, but everyone wants to talk about it. You feel me? So it's cool that you guys actually gave us the platform. But I just want to say, like, at this point in my life, like to where I'm at now compared to where I was at maybe like a couple years ago before I met these two and shit, I was in a deep rut. I'm not gonna hold you. I had a bunch of stuff going on that was holding me back. I stopped making clothes for like a year. I really like felt like I fell off and shit at one point. I felt like I lost all hope, and I had like a pretty mild depression, and I wasn't sure what to do with my life and shit really, with who would have thought. And it's just crazy being around my brothers all the time and just them making me realize the potential I really have to really like spread my wings and fly and do my shit, you know. So I love you, Baka. Like, thank you for everything and shit. I owe you the world. Thank you, Hoody, for fucking, you know what I'm saying, giving me a platform and shit, and just to like look out for me and shit. And it's like, yeah, I really you know, shout out Marvin, shout out fucking, shout out my homie Brandon, my roommate, sorry, my best friend. Fucking shout out Sloopy, I love you, bro. Shout out fucking Otaku. Shout out Kensho. Shout out fucking
Stupid
Wolf. Shout out fucking Umi. Shout out fucking,
I got you, G. You know, like, niggas got talk shout outs real quick. Everybody who already got called out, I'm gonna call you out again. It's really, I don't give a fuck, you feel me? First of all, shout out all the main Tacoma SLUs. It goes Slubaka, that's me, bitch. SLU T, SLU P, SLU D, that's this nigga. SLU C, that's this nigga. There's SLU AB, you should fucking know and go to the A. You know, all the main tax SLUs, the Portland SLUs, SLU Taku, SLU Umi, you feel me? We ain't gonna take away from the brand.
Hey, Her Girl podcast, it's really, what is it? Her Girl Hideout is just her brand, but she's killing shit. She's an intern at AGC. I'm like blanking on her name right now, but I bought a fire ass hoodie from her, excuse me. Don't sleep. This shit is gas.
And our shoutouts could really go on for fucking ever.
Because
there's not one person who's ever showed me fucking love that I forgot about.
Oh, God.
I will never lie about that. There's not one person who's ever been like, yo, Baka, Romel, Twinkie, any fucking name I've ever gone by, and I forgot about you. Everybody who's ever showed me love, I genuinely love you. When I say fuck you, it's to all the people who ever just looked at me like I was just a random
bitch.
When I say I love you, it's to everybody who ever looked at me like
you just looked at me funny. You played yourself.
So shout out those people. You feel me?
Stupid.
And I just want to finish.
Get more W's than Khaled, dummy.
I just want to finish it off with saying, you know, I'm just glad that in this whole time period of me even coming down here and being a kid from buttfuck nowhere up north, where like literally no one had, like people could just prejudge the shit out of me and just assume that whatever, where the fuck you from, blah blah blah. The fact that I come out here and I get this much love and people really fuck with what I'm doing is so cool to me, because none of this shit was ever meant for other people. It was all meant for my own personal shit, and I never realized, like, you know, I could take that to other avenues. So I really appreciate everyone who actually genuinely supports me and shows me love and DMs me and fucking shares my stuff and shares Baka's stuff and shares Hoody's shit or whatever the fuck we're all working on and shit every now and then. It's just like nobody has to do any of that.
Yeah.
And I tip my hat off to you, and I'm forever grateful for you guys. But like Baka said, to anybody who's fucking talked down my name in the past and who now wants to show love because they see me throw my first event and they think, Collin's releasing clothes again, he got a new blah blah blah, like, you know, they see people fucking dead that, bro. Like, I don't need that type of energy around me.
Who's shining?
If you want and if you want to live your life like that, I'm not mad at you, King. Just don't be surprised.
Stupid! Don't be surprised when you don't get hit up. Don't be surprised when motherfuckers have exclusive pop-ups. Don't be surprised when SLUCOLOR start booming. Don't be surprised when Basic Pro start booming. Don't be surprised when ETC start booming. Don't be surprised when Tac'd podcast start booming, because y'all knew. Y'all had the opportunity to tap in early and you didn't. So take this with a grain of salt and tap the fuck in.
Yeah, I don't want to be that guy or anything, but I'm a fucking diva, so I'm taking the last words. You know the fucking vibs. It's me. It's SLUBAKA fucking Baka. I'm the most important nigga in Tacoma. Fuck you.
And shout out Spencer for fucking giving us our first interview and shit. The fact that you even did that, King, is fucking
my pleasure. Honestly,
you beat everybody.
I'm glad we got it on the
beat
books.
Beat him to the punch.
Yeah. Hey, and shout out to my bros expressing their emotions, man. All you men out there, don't be afraid to express some emotion. This shit's real. Let it out. Don't hold it in.
Remain human. Self-love's the first love. If you don't love yourself, you don't love anybody. You fucking weirdo.
Stupid.
All right, boys. This has been the Tac'd podcast with the fucking SLUs. What a fucking success.